And I tell you again, one of our pleasant way again to say welcome to the closing argument. The closing argument comes away every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today having to be a Wednesday, the seventh day in the year 2024. Let me say welcome to it. It's going to be very interesting on tonight. So don't go away. Coming here shortly, we'll be joined by the panelists that are going to join us. So one thing I can tell you for sure is that share the show, invite someone to follow you because too many things to talk about on tonight. So let's share the show. My name is Henry Jarrad. I'm in the driver's seat while we await our panelists on tonight. So share the show. Again, there's a closing argument. Let me say welcome to it. It's going to be very fascinating, interesting, very educative as we gear up for a new era, a new government. So let me say, welcome again, welcome to the closing argument. Too many things to talk about on tonight. As you may be aware, we are in a new era, like I said, a new government. Too many trending things happenings, and as they happen or as they unfold, we're going to be giving you just the happening. But one thing I can say is that we pray for the best, we wish for the best because this is all we have. This is just our country, and this country is Liberia. For the better Liberia, it rests assured or it depends on us, we as citizens. So we hope for the best, we pray for the best. For this new leadership, a new breed of leadership, we pray for the best. This is the Renaissance Radio 2FM 96.1. We broadcast live from Dupo Road, Painesville, outside the nation's capital, Monrovia. We are here in a Dupo Road in Painesville, while our panelists are there in the United States of America, that's the USA. And while we are here together, we all working, making sure that the closing arguments always be great, always be informative, and we are accurate on what we say. We are accurate on what we say because all of the information are not accurate. You lost further, but we're accurate on what we say. So share the show, invite someone, share the live. Let come on while we await our panelists, and then they are coming. They are coming. I don't want to trick the trigger. I don't want to like fire the gun. Which of course I've not yet seen enough meat, right? Or animal. So while I'm firing the gun, let our panelists also be there. Or let the follower keep adding up, right? So invite someone, keep sharing the live, share it live. Let go, and then we'll be joined by the panelists. But before that, uh, let me just drill you through one or two while I wait. I'm already seeing one person in the back. That's Tomalin George. He's in the back. Very shortly, we're going to be joined by Tomalin, and then he's going to be here. Again, this is the closing argument. It comes your way every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today is Wednesday, and the time is exactly 21 minutes up to 10 o'clock in Liberia. So, welcome to it. So, Timothy, I don't know if you can join me so that we can be like hitting on while we are with the other panelists.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to be back on the closing argument. We are back. Today is uh, Wednesday, February 7th, and today is another day of today is day 17 of the new government. President we are 17th President. I'm sorry, President Boga 17th day office, and just as we're getting on the air, President Boga made some appointments in his government today. Uh, he finally bringing in some of the rescue forces from the Liberty Party and the Unity Party. They are now getting on board. I'll just while waiting, we want to welcome everybody. We are live on True FM, and um, we're live on True FM, and we about to start the show. Today should be an interesting show. We know there are a lot of developments unfolding today from the the president say. President Boakai and his vice president today did the drug test, and I was told it came back negative. And also, uh, he ordered he ordered that the General Auditing Commission immediately begin auditing of the Central Bank of Liberia, the National Security Agency, and the Executive Protection Services, the EPS. The EPS provides security to the president and the first family, and some key officials of government, including the ministers of foreign affairs, finance, and the first lady, and the first family I said already. Uh, also, we today he just made some appointments, as I said earlier, and he made some appointment in his government. Quickly, the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai Sr., has nominated additional officials to a position in government affecting the Liberian Water and Sewer Corporation, Liberia Civil Aviation Authority, LCAA, Liberian Agency for Community Empowerment, LACE, Liberian Broadcasting Corporation, the National Oil Company of Liberia, Ministries of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, Commerce and Industry, State for Presidential Affairs, and the Office of the President. The nominees are Mr. Muhammad Ali, who is called Mo Ali, Managing Director, Liberian Water and Sewer Corporation, LWSC. Mr. Jacob Smith, he's from the Liberty Party. He's Deputy for Administration, Liberian Petroleum Refining Corporation. He's working next to Amos Twe. So you got a UP, you got Liberty Party to help the PRC. That's good though. Also, Mr. Stephen Johnson. Wow, Zinzu, Deputy for Administration, Liberia Civil Aviation Authority, LCAA. Wow, our own man Zinzu. Mr. Julius K. Salih. Oh, this is my classmate from way back in Firestone. Wow. Julius K. Salih, Executive Director, Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment, LACE. This is the job that Pepsi Yeke was doing under the WIA administration. Julius Salih will now be doing this job. Mr. Anthony V. Kessley, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs. I don't know where, but it's a public affairs, that's all we see. Mr. Daniel Sando, also from Liberty Party, Deputy Minister for Technical Services, Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, MICAT. Mrs. Masa Sobo, Assistant Minister for Human Resources, Ministry of State. And finally, Mr. Eugene Lamin Fagon, Director General, Liberian Broadcasting System, LBS. This position, Eugene was Deputy in President WIA administration, and he's now LBS Director General. I think maybe he's the same rank. So maybe you say step down because he had an entity, but again, he was Deputy Minister, and by statutory, the Ministry of Information, the minister is the chairman of the board of LBS. So his boss will be Jeremy Pia. He'll be his boss. Okay, you go to Mr. Sir Johnny, a long time friend of President Boakai. I used to live in Rhode Island almost 15 years ago, and when President Boakai was vice president, he was always in Rhode Island with Mr. Sir Johnny. He's a long-time friend, a long-time buddy. So he's now his economic advisor, Minister of State. Miss Rosalind Swakoko Dennis. Now, she lost the election. She was a representative. She lost her election in the last election as a representative. Now she's now the president, chief executive officer of Liberian National Oil Company, NOCAL. So that means Jake is no more the NOCAL boss, the president's nephew. So Mrs. Dennis will be replacing him. Mr. Charles A. Snyder, Ambassador at Large, Minister of State. Mr. Snyder is a veteran Liberian journalist. He was the owner of Radio Morovia right after the war. He been by President Boakai for a long time. He's a loyal ally to President Boakai and Ambassador at Large. It shows that President Boakai trusts him a lot, and that's why he's his close confidant. So he's making Ambassador at Large. Minister of State. Mr. Emmanuel Azango, also from Liberty Party, first Vice President of Finance and Investment, NOCAR. Attorney George K. Sarr. Attorney George K. Sarr was the Chief of Staff to President Boyka when he was Vice President. We were working in his office directly. Now he's Assistant Minister for Public Affairs, Minister of State. Mr. Doug Cooper, a former Nima County Superintendent. So this coming from apparently from the Prince Johnson end. Inspector General, Minister of Commerce, Industry. I think this was the job that the lady Josephine was doing. Josephine Davis from CDC in the last administration. Ambassador George Wallace, Advisor, Foreign Affairs, Minister of State. Ambassador Wallace is a long-term career foreign diplomat. He's a seasoned career diplomat, and he's needed at the Foreign Ministry to help guide the ministry and the minister and the president on the issues of Liberian foreign affairs. Mrs. Louise Tamba. This is Ambassador Boyka, almost his sister, very close to him too, one of his loyal ally. Very loyal to him, and she's been with him throughout. Ms. Tamba is the business manager, Minister of State. I know this is a new position because I didn't remember hearing Madam Salif have a business manager or President Weah, but President Boyka have appointed his sister, almost like his sister, but very close ally of his, as business manager, Minister of State. And Councillor Bushiben Keita. I remember he was the former Director General of LBS during the factional time, interim government time. He's now legal advisor, Minister of State. These nominations were applicable as subject to confirmation by the Liberian Senate. Again, President Boyka today appointed Mr. Mohammed Ali, Managing Director, Water and Sewer, Jacob Smith, Deputy for Administration, Liberian Petroleum Refining Company, LPRC, Mr. Stephen Johnson, Deputy for Administration, Liberia Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Julius K. Salih, Executive Director for Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment LAYS, Mr. Anthony V. Kesari, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, Mr. Daniel Sano, Deputy Minister for Technical Services, Minister of Information, Culture Affairs, and Tourism, Mrs. Masa Sobo, Assistant Minister for Human Resources, Ministry of State, Mr. Eugene Lamin Fagon, Director General, Liberian Broadcasting System, LBS, Mr. Sai Johnny, Senior Economic Advisor, Minister of State, Mrs. Rostolin Swakoko Dennis, President, Chief Executive Officer, National Oil Company, NOCAR, Mr. Charles A. Snyder, Ambassador at Large, Minister of State, Mr. Emmanuel Zango, First Vice President, Finance and Investment, NOCAR, Attorney George K. Sarr, Assistant Minister for Public Affairs, Minister of State, Mr. Doug Cooper, Inspector General, Minister of Commerce, Industry, Ambassador George Wallace, Advisor, Foreign Affairs, Minister of State, Mrs. Louise Tamba, Business Manager, Minister of State, and Councillor Bushiben Keita, Legal Advisor to the Minister of State. These are the appointments made by the President a few minutes ago. It's on the Executive National website. The President just made these appointments, and he said these nominations were applicable as subject to confirmation by the Liberian Senate. So here we go. The President founded the issue of appointments. I think is now taking shape. There have been a lot of cries, a lot of concerns about the appointments during in recent months, in recent weeks. People have been complaining that they have not been appointed, and the President finally today, perhaps what I would say, he bowed under pressure, but he was doing it at his own time, but he made his appointments. And also, he also called today the General Auditing Commission, GAC, to commission audit of the Central Bank of Liberia, CBL, the Executive Protection Services, the EPS, and the National Security Agency, NSA. Well, we hope people can help us to discuss these issues, because I know the NSA is a spy, considered as a spy institution. They do covert and overt operations, and usually they are not really subject to audit because of the work to do. And if you go into that, they'll be revealing even some top secrets and everything. But again, we'll get to find out how they arrive at that decision. But NSA is usually uh, covert and they do covert operation. But again, hope some others can help us to find out about that. But Duke, welcome. Good to see you.
Hey Tomalin, how are you? How are you?
Great, great. So we're talking about these audit. The audits have been commissioned. President Boyka promised Liberians that he was going to conduct audit when he takes office, and he's already started in his 100 days. He already asked for audit and so forth. And I don't know, but we'll find out about this NSA. Um, but except we'll let people to ask join us to find out. But Duke, welcome, man. What's up?
Tomalin, great man. It's always good to be on. And always great to talk, man. Talk about issues impacting the Liberian people. We're all leaving our marks. And this is another opportunity to make sure we're, bringing some sort of difference to the conversation. So,
Yes, you know that I mean, just read about the appointments that bring by the president, and also he's asking for audit. I mean, audits of the EPS, the Executive Protection Services, and also the Central Bank of Liberia, as well as the National Security Agency (NSA).
yeah, so it's funny when I hopped on, that's when I heard you reading through the appointments, and then I pulled it up and saw some names. But the first and foremost, the audits. I think it is a major part of the Joseph Boyka administration. If if you follow the process throughout, right, prior to the election and then after the election, one of those key components, one of those key things that was kind of the theme of this entire electoral process had to do with what the Liberian people witnessed in the previous administration. So auditing was something that a lot of people look forward to, looking to see if the Boyka administration were going to be bold enough to hold accountable their predecessors. I think it's something that the previous administration under CDC failed to do. So let's hope that this is a step in the right direction. Now, this shouldn't just be a regular, audit to satisfy political talking points. And I think it should go a little further. There will have to be some sort of documentation made available to the public as these auditing, unfolds, in the middle of the process, at the final process. And if there are discrepancies discovered, we hope appropriate actions will be taken. So that's a step in the right direction, and I commend the president on that. How far they go towards discovering lapses and holding people accountable is another conversation that we look forward to. In terms of the appointment, it's just a little bit. What this is Stephen Johnson, Liberian Aviation Authority.
Yeah, Deputy Aviation.
Why is Stephen Johnson at Aviation? I mean, you put people to where I think they're able to function the most, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how that particular position suits him. I thought he would have been somewhere finance, but perhaps there's some flexibility in his background that they're tapping into. Perhaps there's an issue at that particular aviation authority that they believe that his skill set suited for. I'm not sure what the thought process was in that, but that's something we definitely want to pay close attention to. But the formation of this of various positions of government that's going to help this government possibly stay in the right direction. Those are things that we're all paying attention to. So it's good to see appointments coming up. Hopefully, those people are able to do what they've been hired to do for Liberian people.
Yes, that's what happens when you have elections, new government. You make appointments. The government got to function. The government got to move on. And finally, today, President Boyka continues his appointment. And I heard that there will be a huge batch coming up, perhaps later on tonight or perhaps tomorrow. For now to Friday, I heard he will be making almost 100 appointments in his government. So look forward to that. But we're happy some of our friends are now being appointed. This was they've been long they're waiting for. The question is, I mean, if they are not happy, I'm sure they have a choice to either accept it and serve the country. As they said, they were in this to serve the country. They were not for jobs, and so we hope that they accept it.
Yeah,
All
but
all the appointments, we'll see what happens in the coming days. But like there are some one day appointments today, mainly from the Liberty Party and the UP. There are partisans from the Liberty Party, but they are mostly a lot of them in this appointment today, and so forth. I don't know whether Eugene Fagon, whether he's at the right place because he talks a lot, and someone who talks a lot. I don't know whether LBS is not for talking. LBS is the government arm of broadcasting and information dissemination.
well, I mean, I'm not sure what kind of value Eugene brings to any other position other than something that keeps him around broadcast. So possibly that's a softer landing spot for him, and maybe we might be able to see some level of vision for him to be able to transcend LBS in the. But that's a strategic position. We shouldn't overlook that. And there could be a reason why he was actually sent to that area. There might be another attempt to please certain individuals, but we will see.
Well, Peabody, welcome, man. Welcome and good to see you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Good to see you too, man. Good to see everybody.
Yeah,
So,
I know that was not his. I know from people close to him that was not his interest. His interest was being to be Minister of Information proper, but it's the president prerogative to appoint you to wherever he deems fit, and so I think he decided to send him to LBS. But I can tell you, knowing the kind of Pee Wee Sylvester Pee Wee, welcome, brother. Yeah, knowing the kind of a person Eugene is, LBS is not a place where you do a lot of talking. You send reporters out in the field to cover it up. They have the Minister of Information is the government official spokesperson, and then also they do the government press briefing. LBS make sure that all the government programs are covered. The presidents are covered. Send reporters out there and make sure that we have a live broadcasting in rural Liberia, communications there. It's an administrative job. So I wish the brother the best. Wish the brother the best, and
and to further add that
yeah,
the new law that created LBS is now putting it as the people's station. You don't already politicize it, right? You don't do too much of propaganda there. So basically, the new law it should be balanced. You should have the opposition to have their say. It's the station of the people of the Republic of Liberia. It should not be new as an instrument, or you try to weaponize it as a government propaganda arm and the rest of that. But again, that would be the only area probably.
But LBS, right? How to call LBS is that and that the chairman of the board of LBS, the Minister of Information.
That's correct.
So Jeremy Pierre will be Eugene Boss. Jeremy Pierre is a veteran Liberian, just veteran journalist, very smart guy. He's one of my close buddy in the UP.
Unfortunately, he's not a journalist anyway, but he's not a journalist.
Yeah, not journalist, but I mean
he's a very brilliant, very good
guy,
propagandist. Yes, he's just a man that got a degree in agronomy, the first degree, but he's very, very good.
He came to Harvard and he got
the Harvard School of Kennedy School of Government. Yes.
Yeah, so he's
very brilliant, very good.
He's a very good information minister.
Very well.
I don't know how he and Eugene will how do we coexist. But
but Tomalin, I don't think Eugene has any choice in terms of how the government run. He's been appointed, recommended by the president. It is now his responsibility to be able to do whatever he's been asked of. But I believe that the individual appointed to Ministry of Information is very qualified, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's a no-brainer, and this is one of those things I think is just a soft landing spot to satisfy individuals who were involved during the political period, and so hopefully that's what the intent is. Let's see what he's going to do. But one thing I'll say, LBS is not an outlet to spew propaganda to spew rhetoric, to spew divisiveness, and he will have to walk a fine line, because those kind of positions, when you're creating that much trouble, that's where you run the risk of having facing stiffer opposition, possibly losing your appointment there. So we'll see how this thing go forward. The government is forming, and we get to watch the next set of players, do their own role.
Well, I want to welcome Lofa Julius and Keff Hassan. I know Kev is happy because that's his buddy. I know he's in a joyful mood today. Kev is happy that
Kev said he got employed man as DJ in his basement.
I heard Kev had to hang into that appointment though. He been pushing for that appointment for Eugene to get appointed as Minister of Director General LBS. So Kev, at least Kev will be able to be back. We'll be frequent on LBS. Kev, LBS will be part of LBS, right? We'll be in touch with them regularly. Well, guys, welcome, man.
Yeah, but let me say this. Let me say hi to you guys. You guys know that one of the things I used to, hit on JMB about is his decision making, cognitive. But I think JMB maybe we overlook his way of doing things. JMB know who Eugene Fagon is. He know him well. He know that Fagon, he's not the kind of guy that will change certain things. We know him, so he know exactly who he hiring. JMB satisfied with Eugene Fagon way of politics. He love it. He's satisfied. He like it. Fagon is not going to change who he is, and he knows that. JMB knows that. He knows that that's who Fagon is. So my brother Duke say, "Oh, he got to change." Fagon is not going to change, and JMB want him to be who he is. He like that, So the people that JMB hiring, not by mistake. He know exactly. When his one of his security advisor said yesterday they should shoot and kill Percy Yeke on site. He knows that. He like that.
Somebody said that?
Oh yeah, Conor Gray said that yesterday. It's one of his security advisor. He says I can send it. I can play it.
Really?
Yeah, he says they should shoot him on sight. So that's the kind of.
Okay, was it the direct statement or the statement that he was deemed dangerous?
The direct statement. I can send it. You can play it.
Okay. That is dangerous. That is terrible, brother.
So JMB know exactly.
Who Gray said that?
We have to be very careful on the platform.
Yes, good thing. Conor Remy Gray said that.
But he's not part of
Remy Gray doesn't work for Unity Party. He's not part of
Remy Gray
support. Oh, it was Remy Gray that said it?
Yeah, and he went down
to one of the security person that were appointed by the president.
Yeah, you said one of the advisor.
Security advisor. One of the security advisor.
No, Kev, he's not.
He's not a security advisor.
I'm telling you, that's what I know. He's one of his security advisor.
Yeah, not be announced.
Well, I'm telling you what I know. It's one of his security advisors.
But he said that it was terrible. Even as a peaceful individual to say that about liberal citizen, that is terrible. He said it is terrible. It is unacceptable also.
So the tape there.
Yeah. Okay. What I would love to buttress you on quickly is the statement that came from the EPS chief about Pepsi also. I thought the statement from the EPS chief was not only reckless on his part, he didn't go by the rule of engagement. As an EPA person, you need to go by the regimentation. If you need those kind of things to come and say Pepsi Yeke is dangerous, his arm is dangerous, that means the person poses immediate threat to national security. I thought Sam gave blunder on that level. He needed to put into place appropriate regimentation in terms of the way you engage as a security apparatus, right? So you need to be trained and respond in the kind of keeping safe.
Lofa, send it to you, okay? So you can see it.
So what?
I don't think
party.
Yeah, he's not
the
part of the
stuff
government.
here. I mean, I don't think
So, but
It's
He
appropriate to
left Foutier not to play,
private
but
stuff.
the thing is,
I don't think we should do that.
Dr. Peabody, the reason Liberian
He
people
doesn't work for the government. We cannot be playing
Yes.
promoting Remy Gray
So-
here for his, you know.
yeah, it's up to you. But this is something that
Yeah, because Kev, if you are to use that, the government will come in and debunk it. He's not. The president did not appoint him. He's
Yeah, I don't think he's
So,
not working.
I
it's
mean-
a loose cannon. It's a loose cannon making a
so
this man was invited to the inauguration by the team.
yeah, but
He went there. This may be seen around
Yeah.
the president.
I think we need to talk about the better issue here than to be talking about something.
Let me say
so
this.
this was a statement. So
Let me-
this was a statement that was made by who? Remy Gray.
Yeah, he's not part of the government.
Yeah,
So
but Remy Gray is not part of the government. Remy Gray is
Yeah,
one of those individuals who's trying to find his way in that space, right? Yeah, look, let's be honest. We should hold people accountable when reckless comments are made. But Remy Gray was never was never a key member of the core of the Unity Party machinery. What Remy Gray is doing is trying to find a landing spot for himself. He doesn't represent that, and in as much as we will want to take advantage of political points and whatnot, let's leave the politics out of it, but hold people accountable for reckless statements.
Exactly.
We should understand that a lot of people around, like even with the we administration, that people will come there and say all kinds of things. You can't hold the government accountable because an average Joe went on there to say, right? So Remy Gray is just another individual trying to find his footing.
You see some of the thing. I wish you guys or some people will have said. We had guys who were not on the scene, on Walter Sisulu beating, not on the scene. They were arrested, and they linked them with government, with George Weah government. An ordinary citizen, they were not on the scene. They linked them. But we're talking about somebody who was invited. You see him around. He's speaking on behalf of them, and everything. He left the ANC and support them. He with them, and they say, "Oh no, he's not part of them."
But
If there was the last government, I know my brother Duke will be screaming.
No, Kev, listen, Kev, follow, Kev, follow my criticism of the previous government. I was never one of those individuals who were chasing everything.
A lot of people say stuff that were not even part of the government.
But Kev, let's be honest here, right? This particular individual is not within the structure of the Unity Party. So he got invited. A lot of people that got invited are not partisans of the Unity Party. We can't say because somebody was invited to attend the inauguration, that whatever this is represent the president. That does not bring any ounce of credibility to our argument, right?
Yeah,
all I'm saying, I know Remy Gray. Remy Gray is one of those individuals who just talk loosely. I think as recently he's been saying a lot of despicable things against Mr. Cummings, right? And that's the kind of individual he is. You have to understand. Some of these individuals are trying to find a footing. And so they're looking for that opportunity to build a resume so that, the man always talking for, like getting a low favor and stuff. That's how I see him. I wouldn't want to include him or make his statement as part of what the Unity Party stands for, the current government stands for. And I just want to be truthful in dealing with it. Remy Gray is an individual on his own. He's just looking for opportunity to find his own trophies and then use that to defend himself and push away along, the train that's going around. That's how
look, you made progress. Look, welcome, Lofa. Look, Remy Gray is, as far as we are concerned, he's not official of the government. He's not a member of this government. He's not being appointed. He's a co-host. He's a panelist on Spoon TV, and so that's how I think I view him as a panelist on Spoon.
That boss going to prison.
Let me progress. And Lofa, before coming, the EPS boss, yes, he was right to, but I thought he went to extreme, maybe to the way in which he get a press release to say the person was dangerous and I think it will cause a lot of, because somebody say you are dangerous and so it's not, but yeah, it's a right to request for the arm from Pepsi. Pepsi is not EPS personnel, so he should not be holding the EPS in the EPS arm. So I think, and I saw a release where he finally returned the arm according to the EPS boss. which is I think the right thing. But I don't know. In fact, he should have. In fact, knowing that he's not EPS personnel, he should attend our army when you're leaving the office. He should not have kept the arm, and he should not be having an arm. And,
no, the intent was not to keep the arm. It was just an oversight, right? The thing happened so fast.
Yeah, but
the intent was not to keep the arm. The intent and the way the procedure went in terms of
I said the EPS boss
was
political. I think he overreacted.
Very well overreacted. Yeah,
overreacted. Yeah,
he was too sentimental on the process.
Yeah. He should not have. But he should have turned our army ever since, not to wait for them to ask him and so forth. But that's what we are, and we have a new government in place, and the president is moving. He's appointing his government. He has asked for. Let's talk about the audit before we go to the appointments. He asked to audit the Central Bank of Liberia, the EPS, and the NSA. He said he gave them 3 months to come out with the findings from the audit. But there have been discussion since he announced that audit today. Who are saying that he should they don't know what NSA should be audited, because NSA is a spy agency. Their job is mostly covert and overt operations. People don't really get involved with them. That's why when it comes to NSA budget, from what I know, the budget is not even announced. It's not public, because they carry on a lot of activities. So I don't know what is but guys, what are your thoughts about the audit?
Let me move on that, because of what the level of the background of associated with the GSC before and the rest of that. But again, they're getting a bulk figure, right? They don't put into place, because most of those areas about covert operations will not be captured in the budget. Now there are a lot of, but most of the other administrative areas. So it's a bulk figure, but the covert line, that's not only limited to the EPS. It's the Liberian National Police. The operation issue will not be spared out. The military, the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia, and other paramilitary institutions. But again, there's a problem here. The 1972 Act that created the GSC, there was the amended portion of that in 2005 that states that in terms of auditing those institutions, the president, now the reporting pattern is not to the president of the Republic of Liberia, but yes, the president can ask for a commission of an audit in a particular government institution. But how do we commission this particular audit for, say, on the National Security Agency? How are we going to engage? What is going to be the methodology used, the audit proceeding, as to when we commission the audit, because we need to go through a particular process. Is the Auditor General himself going to commission a special audit team to engage that process? And when the report is out, and the reporting pattern is not to the president directly. I don't know, there'll be some amendment on the law, but we have to be a little bit sensitive as to how we engage those national security institutions, because those covert operations cannot be audited. But yes, the audit process will have to be done in a special commission way. Remember, the general audit, that's why he said the general auditing, because that is a supreme audit institution. They will have to put into place a special audit methodology, and that methodology will have to report now to the Auditor General. And that reporting system is the legislature, is the institution that the GSC will have to report to. Now, how are we going to engage this? Is this going to be a process arranged between the first branch of government, which is the executive branch, versus the legislative branch of the government? Because the pattern of reporting is via the legislature, not exactly to the president. Because the intent of the executive, the 1972 Act, was to ensure that you push the GSC to be more independent, because the president cannot be the appointed authority and be the authority to receive report. Certain Auditor General or individual were before intimidated, harassed by the office of the president, so they changed the law. So again, yes, to be very honest, the president can commission audit, but there have to be a specialized audit proceeding conducted so as to protect our national security interests. Remember, there are certain national security information in the country that is deemed very secret. So there's a way in proceeding that we have to protect this process. So I thought to be the first institution to push to audit, I don't understand the rationale behind it, but yes, is it the right of the president? Now we'll go back quickly before I end up. Article 50 of the Constitution of Liberia is very clear. The executive power of the presidency is pushed to the president of the Republic of Liberia. Yes, he can conduct that, but are we going to put it in a more specialized way? Is the Auditor General going to be very clinical about this process? It's a very convoluted matter that we all need to be mindful as to how we engage. It's not about any other report that anyone will go and see, right? It's intelligent matter, and on the contrary, intelligent matter should be a top secret. They will have to draw the procedure and the way they will have to conduct that process. But yeah, it's the right of the president to call for the conduct of an audit on any government institutions.
Hey, everybody. President Boyka, in a communication to the Auditor General, he requests that the audit covers the period from 2018, 2023, and that if findings be reported in 3 months. The audit period spans a 6 year stewardship of the SY government, which Boyka promised to audit as president. The audit of these 3 institutions marks the beginning of a holistic audit of government ministries. Okay, yeah. But everybody, President Boyka, during the campaign, he said you're gonna audit the We Are administration. Now people are saying President Boyka is living up to his campaign promises he made to the Liberian people. He started the audit already, and he said this will be periodic and on all ministries, all areas of government. What are your thoughts about it? I mean, you think that now what will happen? What people are saying that President we actually have done his audit to early administration, but he chose not to do it, and now Boyka is calling for audit of his people. He's doing his time in office. What are your thoughts about it?
Look, Tony, firstly, before I speak to that, let me say that let me just add something on the report yesterday. The report that came out on how much was left in the consolidated account.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And the report came out. I think folks need to be careful how they provide the president with information before he come out and say things on national stage. I think that was a disgrace. That was embarrassing. For the president to say one thing and the National Bank have a different number. I think that was very, very embarrassing, and I think the government need to apologize to the previous government for that misinformation, or to the Liberian people as well. But let me say, I think that's the right step President Boyka is taking. I think it is important, or they will bring about transparency, it will bring about confidence within your government. And I think it's the right step. I think he is moving right on track. I don't think anything is wrong. It will be important. It's very important to audit so Liberian people can see what's been happening. But I just hope that it does not. I don't know why he stopped short since the previous government did not do audit of President Salif. I would have hoped that he would have gone back a couple of years and probably do it for both government, the UP government and President Salif government. But I think at this point he is on track, and I think this show transparency, it show accountability, it show confidence within the government, that the people can look to the government and say that at least somebody came and did an audit. I hope he moved forward on other areas like the World Crime Court, other things that he promised that he can also work on. But I think it's an excellent move by President Boyka.
Yes, of course, go to Kev. President Boyka, I welcome audits. I think audit is a way to go. And we all know we all work in professional settings. Whenever you take over a place, you want to give an account of inventory of what you're receiving and what you're inheriting, and then where you are before you move on. And I think this will be a lesson learned about audit. But again, so I welcome the audit. I pray that this will continue. But also on the issue of the $40 million, President Boyka was either misled or perhaps by his officials that President Weah didn't say the truth. President Weah did say the truth. He met $7 million in the consolidated account, the account that we do payrolls from and taxes are paying, and he left more than $40 million in that account. And even in the our foreign reserve, President Weah met $94 million there. He left $222.7 million in that account. So President Weah was not in error. He was right. And in fact, the committee that chaired by Amara Kone, they came up to vindicate President Weah. He was right. He did what he said to the Liberian people in his farewell address is true. So either they misled President Boyka, or he just never said the truth to the Liberian people in his State of the Nation address. And I hope they can publicly acknowledge that and apologize to the president. But in other words, by saying that he didn't tell the truth to the Liberian people. But Kev, about the audit now, coming to the audit, What are your thoughts? Because people are saying now that this audit can lead. You're who in the finance era? I'm not in the finance era, but they say it can lead to different things. Some people in Bulgaria government may be caught up in the same audit. Who knows? Some of them who are in the house before, in the legislature, whatever the case, and they are in government now today. Who knows? Can lead to anything. But what are your thoughts about these audits? They call them, especially in the security era, especially.
Well, so certain people, maybe you'll call it audit, but this is not audit. This we will call it witch hunting. That's not audit. That's not audit. You say you want to audit. You say from 2018 to 2023. That's not audit. So basically, you're saying I'm not going to audit my government in the past. What we did in the past, I'm not going to audit the breakdown on Nukal, all these other things, the FIB bank, all those things. We will not audit them. No. But we'll audit George Weah government. So that's not audit. That's witch hunting. You wait until the governor announce for central bank that the 40 million the president spoke about was true. You say, no, I will audit you because you're saying something that I don't like. So I will audit you. That's witch hunting. That's not audit. And you want to audit NSA. You know, it's certain things that it meant for radio, but we all know the folks that are in NSA. We all know that. You want to unmask people? Remember, we fought war. There are folks who been on lists since Taylor days. They're sitting quietly. And you want to unmask to bring problem into Liberia. Folks are not thinking about it. They are folks. That's why you don't talk about the CIA, the FBI. You remember there was a lady who, a senator wife, she was a CIA agent for years. She was unmasked by Donald Trump. The whole country went against Trump for that. Republican and Democrat. There are folks who are ordinary people walking on the streets that you may not think they are NSA guys. And you want to unmask them because you want to go after another government. That's not audit there. That's witch hunting. We have folks for years that there that we will not call the name. You know, Tomlin, you know those names. You know those names that own NSA. We know them. That you want to unmask. Sylvester, you know what I'm talking about. JMB is about to bring danger into Liberia. When Donald Trump unmasked a CIA agent, both Republicans and Democrats went against him. People think, oh, to audit is good. To audit is good. There's a reason why the EPS and the NSA are out of politics. There's a reason. You don't play with politics in this thing. JMB is about to bring danger into Liberia because you get some folks who sitting quietly. They're sitting quietly. We fought 14 years war. Those guys are sitting quietly. And you want to unmask them? People are not thinking, they are not looking at it. Oh, audit. He about to cause danger into that country. And you guys on the platform, some of you know the people that we're talking about. So I rest for now. I'll leave it.
Yeah. You know, again, when it comes to these audits, I suffer against it. Again, I'm President Boyka. Perhaps he we have sought his advice from legal people and whatever the case to, because I know I've not seen recent times NSA being audited and so forth. But again, or EPS. But again,
it's not
maybe
auditing.
maybe the
It's
president
unmasking.
knows.
It's unmasking
I mean,
people.
the question is, I asked someone, I asked an auditor. He said, I said, it is illegal or it is legal. He said, everybody can be audited in the government. Any institution can be audited.
Can I step in now and talk about that issue?
He said the issue about that is that they're setting era. He said that for NSA, maybe the president will say maybe that audit will be maybe conducted in a strict confines of confidentiality, and
then you don't announce it
and so forth. But we don't know how this will end.
When you announce it,
that's the question.
When you announce it on the mansion page, what happening? The public want to know the result of this auditing. You cannot audit and keep it. The public wants to know, so you don't announce it. So
we'll see how to handle it. Let's see how to handle it. But
you don't announce it. The public,
all right. So
curiosity of the public, we want to know.
So, Tomalin, before I get into that point, let me start off by saying, in terms of the consolidated account, you know, I would like to, you know, state this to the current administration. That particular issue is a very important issue. It is something that cannot just be ignored, because those things have a way of defining your government. We saw it with CDC. The whole issue with the $16 billion, when all of these accusations were thrown around, the government came and said, brought the Crow and the Pit investigation. And there was also things in those particular reports that suggested forensic auditing should have been done to come up with the conclusion of that particular case, and the government ignored it. We saw it with NOCA. They said that when they conducted investigation and stuff, and they never made those findings available, nobody was held accountable. When we're talking about the discrepancy between $20 and $40 million, it is not something to ignore. If in fact somebody misinformed the president, then that person should be investigated. We should know exactly what led to the misinformation, right? The inaccuracies in what was presented to the president, right? Versus what was actually on the books. So I think it's something critical, because the president needs to set the stage, set the tone from the onset. That's an important conversation, and I hope we'll be hearing more from the press secretary, the office of the president, about how it intends to bring some clarity to that particular issue. Now, let's talk about people in the government being implicated in a possible audit. Look, if those individuals were appointed prior to any knowledge that they were involved in anything, any discrepancy, anything that had to do with, you know, some level of fraudulent act in the previous role, then the president will exercise leadership by then using his power to determine how those people either, you know, are removed from government or held accountable to the law. So until that happens, we will just give them the benefit of the doubt on that particular issue. Now, when my brother Kev gets so upset about this audit thing, you know, it brings memories back to me. And Sylvester Pugh and I may not always agree about issues on CDC, but I think in his heart now, if Sylvester's honest, you will say one of the missed opportunity of that government, they should have audited the predecessor. When we said it repeatedly, CDC made a blunder when it refused to audit the previous government. Here we are now. If Joseph Boyka forgets that, if he refuses to audit the CDC administration, that defines his government, and it puts us back to the same things that we've been saying over and over. A lot of these concerns, a lot of the things that people are afraid of now could have been solved when CDC took over office. It blundered. Today, to say that we shouldn't audit because it will be defined as witch hunt, no, it is not witch hunting. Due process allow that. The government
Have you ever seen the audit any intelligent area in the world? Have you ever seen that, my brother? Any intelligent agency in the world? Have you ever seen that?
Yes, Kev. I'm coming to that part. Kev.
Don't say yes, don't answer.
Let me say this to you. Let me destroy your argument. In financial accounting, there's something called red action, right? In a place, let's say a body like the NSA, you're not going to make visible all of the things you investigated to the general public. Those things are sensitive information.
No,
You can react them. No, absolutely. You can react them. The question we should be asking, though,
what
why
country that intelligence agency
is it?
audited?
Keff
What
Hassan,
country?
the question we should be asking: why is it that this current government sees the need
Don't answer that question, my
actually
brother. What
audit
country?
the NSA? Kev, let's talk.
It sure don't happen in America.
Give me a chance.
It don't
Kev,
happen in Europe.
Kev,
Tell me what country.
the question we should be asking: why is it that the current government sees the need to audit the NSA? That's where we should start from. That's an important component. Now, I'm pretty sure there would be rules in which those findings are made available if possible, and on the back end to protect the names of individuals if necessary. But if there are things, there are ways around that, and it doesn't mean that the NSA cannot be audited. There's nothing in the laws of Liberia that excludes any institution or entity within government from being audited. So that's a poor excuse from that point.
You're not answering the question,
in terms of this thing here, that the president waited for the CBL to make announcement before coming, to push this thing of audit. Come on, man. We've seen that this government has been slow paced in terms of moving, right? We can't just say definitively they're only doing it because the CBL did that, right?
The person lying NSA constitution.
We can't do that. We can't do that. But they have to.
Of course.
Let's do that. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's make sure proper investigation is done. And wherever the government presents its findings and there are people implicated, we have a judicial process in place to be able to govern.
They talk about the NSA expenditure before, my brother.
No, Kev, there is nothing.
You ever see any budget?
There is nothing in the
NSA expenditure.
You have made progress.
There's nothing in the Liberian Constitution that stops the NSA from being audited. If there's any laws within our Constitution,
you're about to turn this country upside down.
Where is the law that tells us that the NSA is actually excluded from being audited?
No, honestly, there's no law, to be very honest. There's no law on the book that you cannot audit NSA. And as a matter of fact, the 1972 Act that created the GSE state. Now, every spending entity in the Republic of Liberia shall be audited by the General Auditing Commission. Now, but there are procedures in auditing those institutions that are covert. They are procedures.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, and those procedures normally sometimes don't be announced because every audit proceeding, I come in 1 minute do. Every audit proceeding, the president should have written a letter to the other general. Mr. Other General, I want you to take check on the NSA, the AFA, and other issues. Because the reason is that the public, Article 10 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia is very clear of it, right? They say the people should be informed of what's happening. The public will want an outcome on that report. You cannot do what the president can do. What the president can do, you can do a kind of a covert way of auditing those institutions. And the report goes directly to the legislature.
Even in America, that's what they do.
What was announced on the executive mansion website that violates that particular law, right? That says certain things cannot be announced. We keep talking circle.
Look, you know better, man. Look, you know better.
No. You see, Kev, we're not. One thing we're not going to do here. Kev, listen, trust me.
No,
if we have to be critical of the administration, we'll be critical. No, Kev, it is not an excuse, Kev. It is not an excuse to hold your predecessor accountable. That's what I want you to know. You cannot blame the current administration. The government had, the CDC administration had all of the opportunities to hold its predecessor accountable.
I don't think it was
on that issue. You can't say the president is in the wrong for holding individuals or seeking auditing of the previous administration. There's no law that prevents that. Now, if you tell me we should be cautious in terms of how we move forward with certain individuals, and there should be a covert way of doing things, I understand that. But up to this point, there's no violation that's been made, and they're in the right when it comes to the Constitution of Liberia. Let's give them the chance to do the job and make the findings where it is necessary. When some of those things are supposed to be public, they will. If they don't need to be public, we don't need to see those things. Okay. But their accounting reports can show that certain things have been redacted, and they intend to redacting it because it is possibly sensitive information that does not need to be made public.
Okay. Yeah, welcome, Professor Kennedy and Robert. Welcome. Look, guys, the issue is that we got to. I think the finance boy. I think that Duke and Rob and and Professor Kennedy. So it will help us in that era. Because the question is, if people are asking right now, is it illegal to audit the NSA or or the APS? Is it illegal? Is it against Liberian law in Liberia or not? Is the prerogative of the president to commission audit, to act on audit? We'll find out very soon. So, but Robert coming.
Well, but Tomalin, to that point, right? I want to inject this, right? We all agree that there are no constitutional restriction as to which institution gets audited.
Yeah.
But we also agree here that not everything that is legal is right. There's some things that
I agree on that one. I agree.
Well, but hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Hear me out. There are NSA, and maybe we can define this term and let's have a conversation about it. I'm glad that Professor Larry is on, right? But let's be honest, NSA is largely described as an apolitical institution. There's a reason why it's enshrined in there. And NSA and even the Secret Service in this country, major national institutions are apolitical, meaning they're not vested in politics. They have no interest in politics. They are there for security reasons, for security purposes. And so I'm not mad at Boarcard wanting to audit the NSA, but I think the question here is, should it have been done privately to protect the institution, to protect any possible security classified information, and to protect the institution? Let's assume that the institution probably have done something that they're not supposed to do. Tomalin, can you imagine that we on this platform, right, will be discussing people? I'm not a NSA, I'm not a security guy, right? But can you imagine that the public, the general public, look, our country is divided politically right now. And you take a sensitive discussion, any information for that matter from the NSA, to have us discuss it, to have people with political bias discuss issues of national relations and national concern, of course, it poses some threat to our national security. And so I'm not going to fault the president for saying, hey, let's have this audited. I'm not going to argue that he's violated the Constitution because he has initiated an audit with NSA, because there's no law that stops him or restricts him from doing that. But again, there are ways we can go about issues, especially when it comes to our national security institutions. These institutions have got to be protected. This is the reason why the FBI, this is the reason why the Secret Service in this country, when there are issues, these issues are handled internally. And by the way, if there are any external issues, you have committees in the Senate. You have leaders that we have elected to ask the tough questions, to have hearings behind closed doors. It's not all hearings on national security affairs that are televised in this country. We know that, right? And so again, my position here is not one that question the president legal authority to have any institution audited. It is within his right to do that. That is not my position. That is not my argument. That is not my contention yet. But again, does it pose a possibly national security threat to our national security if during the audit, information of national security, classified information could possibly be left to the general public to discuss, and this stuff could actually pose some security issues? And that's my position on that.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
let me speak. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Let me speak briefly on this account balance situation. Again, this is politics that we're in. I mean, the simple thing that you expect from any good leader is, before you issue a statement, because what we say matters. If Larry comes here and says something in his own profession because people want to take Larry seriously, you can't just make a definitive statement on such an important issue only because you have been misled or because you have been misinformed. Then those who have misled and misinformed after the facts have been ascertained must be held accountable. Because we can't just issue blanket statements, unverified statements, because we want to throw our political opponent, our predecessor, under the bus. The issue with regards to what was left in the consolidated account and our National Reserve is an issue that could have easily been verified because we have institutions to do so. I'm taken aback by the fact that the president, the chief executive of our country, will make such an important statement, doing such an important remark, basically saying that what the outgoing president said was wrong, only to come back and find out he was misled. These things cannot be taken just lightly, and we cannot be nonchalant about these things. This is ridiculous. This is absurd, and this should not be happening. Do your due diligence. Ask the question, what was the rush about making that statement? What was the rush? There was no rush about this, Tomalin. They could have allowed the audit to take place. They could have allowed the central bank to do its due diligence and come back to them. And by the way, this did not have to be made during a very important speech. But we know why it was made. Because the president wants to make a political point. Remember, we are still discussing the fact that civil servants have not gotten paid, and we're almost finishing the first week in February. The CDC-led government met $7 million. They were compelled to pay civil servants. There was no check given to them. And so there's politics here. The question is, if you have $40 million, why are civil servants not being paid? What is the strategy here? So this is not just a simple misled. This is the president, and I'm sorry to say this. The president lied. The president lied to us. Only to come back and if central bank confirm otherwise, you got to do your due diligence. Lastly, on the audit, and Larry will come in. I agree with Keff for once. I agree with Keff. And I also agree with Duke before I say why I agree with Kev. Because we said this here repeatedly. CDC-led government, and I know a lot of my friends would not like me to say this, but who cares? The truth is the truth. Every time we said this, I was on Truth FM in March, making this very point. When I left the radio station, I did not even get in my car. My phone was blowing crazy. Oh, Robert, you can't be going national radio and making any kind of statement, man. Are you kidding me? What did I say wrong? You had the opportunity to audit the UP-led government for 12 years, and you failed to do so. Now you're going to restrict them on what to do? It's almost like Grace telling Sylvester the last time, oh, we can just move on. That's his time. You can't control how he chose to move on with his time. This is the Unity Party's time. The fact that you failed to audit their government for 12 years, knowing that there were massive corruption that occurred, does not negate the fact that they are taking on their responsibility and the opportunity to audit you. But here is why I agree with Kev. This will be considered witch hunting because any serious government who wants to get the truth out will not shield themselves and go after a time frame that does not allow them or put them in the crossfire. This is witch hunting. If you're serious about fighting corruption, if you're serious about auditing, then let's go back to 2005. Let's go back to 2011. Let's go back to 2020 before 2017. And then we can audit from 2018 to 2023. This is witch hunting. This tells me that Joseph Boakai is willing to protect himself. He's willing to protect Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and he's willing to protect the office of the vice president for 12 years on the Unity Party. What are they hiding? What happened to Nokar? Do you know how much millions of dollars were missing? What happened? Have we gotten an audited? But you know what? I don't blame Unity Party. I blame CDC. I blame former President George Weah because he should have audited. We said this over and over and over and again, and they failed to do what was right. But this is witch hunting. And if the president wants to fight corruption, corruption is not limited to 2018 and 2023. Go back. Call your friends out. Call your colleagues out. Induct your party leadership. That's when we know you're serious.
Okay, before I bring Professor Kennedy, let me say that, my one is the problem is that the audit is not being done from the previous administration, but again, it's prerogative of the president. It's a prerogative of the president to commission audit of wherever he choose fit to do it. And I think President Boga is in his right in the right position to call for an audit of the previous government. If he decided about making the president his prerogative to do it, and that's why the previous government should have they should have audited his government. But before, see, NSA, I'll tell you this: NSA, if they audit NSA from Ellington and so forth, a lot of things. I'll be interested to know what come from other NSA audit. A lot of things happen at NSA. NSA budget they do a lot of stuff with that budget. That we all know that. A lot of stuff is done in that budget. You want to move money around, you go to NSA because you can't see it. But again, President Boga is the president now. He was elected, and that's why he promised the people. We cannot blame him. So, Professor Kennedy, tell us. I mean, whether it's illegal to audit these institutions or not, I checked the Constitution of Liberia. Nothing is there that's illegal. And so forth. So I believe the president is here. He is in the right state of mind to call for audit, and maybe the government would do the same thing too. And there's a lesson learned. There's a lesson learned that when you take over, you should make sure you check what you are inheriting so that you won't come to this problem. But again, give your perspective on the audit and so forth.
So, Tomalin, the reason why you're not seeing anything in the Constitution that says the president cannot do that is because in every democratic society, you need checks and balances. You cannot have an entity of any type in any democratic society you cannot have a check on them, right? The audit is not, I think we need to take a step back and first understand when we're talking about audit, what it means. We're not talking about going in there and start divulging state secrets, right? Because even when we had that fiasco with the 16 billion and Kroll came in to do an audit, Kroll redacted the report. They blacked out any sensitive information to make sure they weren't revealing state secrets or anything sensitive. Spy agencies around the world gets audited, and the audit is focused on one key aspect: to make sure that the money coming into these agencies are not being misappropriated, meaning the money coming in is being used for its intended purposes. If you cannot audit any agency in any government, any part of the world, that agency will become a haven for money laundering, because people will use that agency to funnel money to other purposes because they know that agency cannot be audited. The Central Intelligence Agency in the United States gets audited by the General Accountability Office. The GAO looks at the programs within the CIA to make sure the CIA is not running some covert operation and misusing taxpayers' money. So to think that an agency in a developing country cannot be audited because you're going to be divulging some heavy state secret, that is not the case. But I think the problem is maybe the president didn't come out and give a clear definition or a clear delineation in terms of what the audit is going to focus on. So people are drawing all these wild conclusions that the audit is going to be spilling out state secrets. No, Kroll did an audit. And if anyone has sensitive information in that country, it's a central bank, because the central bank deals with all of the money going in. If you're sending money internationally through a system called SWIFT, which the central bank uses, that information can be used by people who want to hack into your system. Kroll redacted that report. The central bank has sensitive information. So NSA should certainly be audited in order for you to see where money is coming in or being used.
Can I just say a point of information?
Sure.
The CIA and other national security entity that gets audited is done quietly. By the way, I just want to say that they're all audited, but there are no major announcements that are made.
No. I disagree.
Yeah.
Listen, there's option there. Rob, go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, the CIA is being audited by a nonpartisan organization, and the report is being shared with Congress. Yeah. And because that was one of the reasons why things like
so website for that. Yeah.
The
Website for
Iran
that.
contract. The Iran contract that came up with General North. What's the guy's name?
Noriega.
Ali. Noriega. The whole thing with Noriega and Ali
Noriega,
North and all that. It was because
Oliver
the
North.
CIA
Oliver
was
North.
using-
Oliver North.
Oliver North. Yeah.
Oliver North. Yeah.
It was because of an audit of the CIA that it turned out that the CIA was diverting taxpayers' money and using it to overthrow governments around the world.
Yes.
They got involved in this whole business of taking money, funneling it over to other countries that the U.S. wasn't supposed to be doing business with. So the NSA is not above the law. In every democratic society, it's the responsibility to audit where monies are going, not so much in terms of who they're spying on or what they're doing, but to audit exactly where monies are coming and where they're going. And I think that's what this audit is all about. That's what the 16 billion audit was all about. So you can't say you have checks and balances in a society and then you have one entity that cannot be audited at all, because everybody will use that entity for money laundering. So that's what it comes down to, And in terms of what Robert mentioned with the this whole discrepancy between the CBL balance sheet and what the president said, if you guys remember, I was on this show, and I always believe that information is the basis for decision making. You need the information. I said we have to wait until the central bank do their due diligence and publish the numbers. We can't use hearsay to put the numbers out there, which is what I think the president was misguided in using hearsay and not waiting for the CBL, because the CBL is a fiduciary, is the people who hold the numbers for the country. They're the only ones you can listen to. So he was wrong in doing that poor decision. So this whole business with audit, maybe he should have put some clarification around it, saying, look, we're simply doing an audit to make sure NSA is not misusing taxpayers' money. Put some clarity around it, people understand it. It's not a witch hunt. Nowhere in the world is auditing an entity sort of a witch hunt. People will use that in a political sense to avoid being audited. But you know what, to close on this, it's a great thing that he's auditing, because the next person that comes in is going to audit him now.
Yes.
So he sets the precedent, and nobody in United Party would complain if CDC were to return to power or ANC comes to power and they decide to audit United Party. Nobody can complain because the president is laying down the precedent in order to do this stuff. So that's good for the country. Let's move forward with that.
Yeah, quickly, Georgie.
Pee-wee something there.
There's one of the process here. I was just going through, and Kev and I said this, but there's this process now unfolding in the country. Actually, the GSE cannot audit the NSA. There's an amendment. The GSE cannot audit the NSA. There was an amendment, and because of the sensitive nature of the NSA, the Inspector General, there shall be an Inspector General appointed at the NSA. The Inspector General will conduct the audit at the NSA and report findings to the president. So the General Auditing Commission cannot audit. Yes.
So check 30 seconds real quick. You are absolutely correct. It's also the Inspector General in the, you see that Liberia copies a lot of the stuff from the US. If you understand what's happening in the US, it'll be easy.
That is the law. That is the act that they amended out of the NSA. The Inspector General
in the US is the Inspector General that conduct the audit of the CIA. That's when they just copy it from the US. You're absolutely correct, Sylvester. Sorry to interrupt you,
buddy. What the president did, basically, procedurally, the president
is wrong.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
It is the Inspector General of the NSA.
That's where we're going. That's where it's wrong.
No. That's not what you're saying. The president is not wrong because the president is not auditing. The president, through his official outlet, made a statement that these agents would be audited. He's not.
The procedure, the GSE cannot audit the NSA.
No, that's incorrect. His office can get things that auditing will be done. Let's stop confusing the public.
No, the General Auditing Commission should audit it.
Keff was saying the NSA cannot be audited, which is not the case. They can't be audited. It's not a violation of the
Constitution. Wait, I come in 1 minute. I want to hear what Sylvester just read. What you said.
The General Auditing Commission cannot audit the NSA.
Okay, that's an amended act.
The president shall appoint what we refer to as Inspector General of the NSA.
Okay.
The Inspector General will conduct audit funding and report to the president. not the General Auditing Commission.
All right, no problem with that. Fair enough, right?
Yes.
But the conversation all along has been
I'm about to send it to you.
it shouldn't be audited. And to just prove a point, that's why I kept saying this. Let's
But
stop.
we said that. We said they can be audited. They should be audited.
One second now. One second. Come on, Kev. 1 second. Kev, you had your chance to talk. You misinformed. Stop it. You started misinforming here from the onset. And I will say this: the National Security Agency Office of the Inspector General, right? There's a function audit called the audit function that provides independent assessment of a wide range of agency programs and operations. It performs audits, evaluates economy, efficiency, effectiveness, and entities, including programs ran by the agency, right? So these particular areas of the United States government are audited. You said on the show, Kev, we can go to the playback though, because the Liberian people are listening. You said that no government audits the National Security Agency for fear that it's going to reveal some information. And I kept.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, it was not you. I told you.
Mr. Moderator, can I get?
There's a way in which that every auditing can occur. You just need to use the rare active feature to hold back on sensitive information, and we're right all along. Now, if like Sylvester said, the president said the General Auditing Commission, and the Constitution said that the General Auditing Commission does not have that authority to audit, then we can say, okay, it makes sense, but it does not exclude the NSA from auditing. That just means there needs to be an independent option to go ahead and audit the security agency.
And that independent individual, for instance, let push.
Sylvester, let me make it clear, big, before you come in, clear.
Go ahead.
Clear to this. The president ordered the GSC to audit. It was wrong. Auditing, I said it here. What country in the world you see will audit and you hear it all over? Fear of unmasking. That's why I say I use the word unmasking. You can audit them, but not publicly. You remember what I said? The public will want to know the founding of that auditing. So what you do, you can audit internally, like what Sylvester just read. Order and go. The procedure by the president is wrong. Announcing it is wrong.
No, it's not.
Announcing that the GSC will do it is wrong.
It will do it is wrong.
I agree with that part, but announcing
it's
not wrong.
Not the GSC.
And you know what?
Because there are a lot of sensitive things. So what they do, even here, I stand to be corrected, Larry. Since I've been in this country for years, I never ever come across the president, the Republic of America, announcing auditing. They have announced audits, but not auditing of CIA and this, right?
He doesn't need to. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't need to make that announcement because it's already on the books.
But this is the point that we're making. This is the point we're making.
That's
the agency knows to do their job.
Because
he doesn't have to make an announcement.
The office of the president. The office of the president. You right now you're just looking for low-hanging fruits to justify the error you made. Right? Nobody here needs to.
I don't know where you find your new love for UP, but
no, it's not about new love, Kev. Let's go back a little bit. I think no, Kev. I think it's important, Kev. I think it's important that we have this conversation, okay? I was on this show. I call out the Unity Party, right? I was not a member of the CDC.
Let me settle this thing real quick.
My voice is not going to be used to project anything positive for the CDC. So if you think that I'm on this show to help you in your argument against the Unity Party, that's up to you. I speak the fact. I have my integrity. No, Kev, let's get it right, because I don't want you to tell my story. I am somebody who believes in the greater good of my country. And I believe that regardless of where we stand politically, we should be factual in some of the conversation that we have, right? We argued on this platform that the system was not an option for the Liberian people. The Liberian opted for two political parties that formed the system. And in that process, I made it my decision. Here we are to support the lesser of two evil. I do not regret that. This has nothing to do with my love for the Unity Party. We have to be factual, because you know what? Some of the dangerous politics that we've exercised over the years comes from these misinformation and these disinformation. It's not about Unity Party. It's not about CDC. It is about what's right. And that's what I'm standing up to today.
Hey, dude,
Well, let me make that point clear real quick,
Larry,
Larry. Just 1 second.
Yeah,
Let me make this
real
point.
fast. It'll be real fast,
Go ahead,
Robert.
go ahead.
Simple question to Kev. Kev, do you support an audit of the NSA, regardless of whether it's from the IG or the GSA? Do you support an audit of the NSA?
Larry.
Why are you stuttering, man?
Larry, Larry, you are correct to say, auditing across the board. So long you receiving money yet, but certain agencies should not be audited.
So you're
should not be. You can audit anybody.
Answer the question. When he asked you.
Remember, Tomalin, my man. Sometimes
the professor asked a simple question, but they don't know the answer.
No, listen. You see, it's not yes or no. Not yes or no. Every agency should be audited, but do not come publicly and talk about auditing the NSA or the EPS.
Because,
Okay,
let me say this. I appreciate you answering the question I didn't ask, but can you answer my question?
Of unmasking and revealing sensitive document or information.
Okay.
That's my
okay.
point.
So let me give the information. Let me give this information, and I'll read. I don't want to say Robert say. The CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, the last time they were audited was in the 1960s. The Government Accountability Office of this country does not have access to any on-voucher account of the CIA. They do not. There are only two, and I said this previously, there are only two committees that are in charge to check and balance the CIA. The Foreign Intelligence Committee of the House of Representatives and the Senate. I just want to be clear. They do not have any on-voucher access to CIA accounts.
We're talking about like
and this also,
we're talking about the NSA, we're talking about the CIA, we're talking about the NSA, we're talking about the NSA in Liberia.
Let me come here, man. Let me come here. You're talking to
Listen, I just said a minute to you. The Auditor General cannot audit
Kev, 1 second. The point that I'm making is very simple. The point that we're making here, and to Larry's point, I don't think that no one is against any form of audit that check and balance how monies going to the NSA are used. The process in which it's been done is the problem.
That's what we call it.
The government in any serious functioning democracy cannot publicly announce audits of national securities like this. This is the reason why you have Senate foreign committees. This is a reason why. And so even if we want to know how monies to the NSA have been spent, there's a process you go through these committees that have oversight on these seriously national security institutions. You have got to protect them. These institutions are apolitical, and I mentioned this from the beginning. They are apolitical for a reason. So the question is not whether or not we support the audit of this institution. Yes, every institution must have a check and balance mechanism. The question is this a political move, or are they serious about getting information and holding whoever accountable and letting the public know how funds are being used? But you don't announce and they say audit, and the government did not explicitly explain specifically the purpose of this audit. They just throw it out there. By the way, why have they not announced the audit on the inaugural committee? Have they announced the audit? Let's be serious here, man. We can do this.
We got that, Robert. Let me say this. The fact here is we should applaud this government that they are taking steps to even audit agency or other areas in the government. We should applaud them. That's what we talk about all the time. We are not here to CDC should have done the audit. The leadership president, we should have done the audit. I mean, we are not responsible if they didn't do an audit and stuff like that. But I think the government had taken the first step that a lot of government have not taken. President Salih did not do much. And this government had come and said, look, we're going to initiate an audit. They made a mistake of talking about the NSA and all of that. I think they should have followed the procedure in auditing the NSA. But I think for the fact here is the government had now the first step that they're going to begin an audit. I think it's important that they do that, and let's see who hands get caught in the cookie jar. It's true that Unity Party did not audit the 365,000, but I think you can see some of the consequences today that Luther probably had to fly to America because he was embarrassed for the position he did not get because he was sidelined because of the $375,000. He was sidelined. It was embarrassing, and we saw that. But I think it is important. We cannot continue to exist as a nation, well, from one regime to another, and no one is audited. And those people who commit heinous crimes, steal money, and they are walking around free after a few years, they come back and get in position again. I think it will be audited. I believe that even people from the past government who will be caught. I mean, some people sitting now, they're acting like they are not defined. They will be caught. Even from the current government that have been appointed in government will be caught in some of the corruption. So I hope this step are taking, but it be across the board, it be free and fair.
Welcome, Chairman Ben. The issue is that everybody, I think we all agree that every institution can be audited.
Yes.
The problem we are faced, we're talking just as that. The procedure, the way the president announced it today. So I think that will be clarified. I'm sure that Inspector General will be the one to do that, to do that audits.
Exactly.
My question is, to you guys who are saying this now, my question is, so if there's something that's falling in that audit, that linking people within maybe in the Boga administration, in the WIA administration, like top people. So how because it said it's not public. So how would it? Well, how would it be handled?
Then why announce it?
If you went through the law, it's very clear there. The law states very clear, and the Inspector General of the NSA is an NSA officer himself.
Okay.
That will be appointed by the Chief Executive of the Republic.
Okay.
We do have the committee in the Liberian Senate and in the Honorable House of Representatives, the National Security Committee.
Yeah.
But that Inspector General is going to be reporting directly to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Liberia, which of course is the President. Fundings of the report from the NSA will be reported. The President is the one that appoints the NSA boss.
Yeah.
But it's not the GSC, because the GSC, when the GSC audit, the GSC will have to publish its findings.
Yeah, but my question is, so if they're reporting to the president now, why is something that's in our report that links somebody with the president or anybody that's involved, that the president maybe is on where be how would the public know?
The public should not. Article 50 of the Constitution of the Liberia says the executive power is inherent in the president. The president will either determine to take action against that person or to forgive the person. That's why the president is the president.
But will it be public?
No.
Also, so my question, so now the issue is, why if, let's assume that I worked with the president before, I'm in his government, I'm one of his staff lieutenant, and during it, I was involved in some shady deeds during the last administration, and my name comes up. So if I've been shooted, so what happens?
The problem is that national security issue, the president will either decide to take action. If the president decides to take action, the president will instruct the Attorney General to take action against you. It is the way, but the report is going directly to the president, and that's why the Auditor General is not involved into the audit process. That audit mechanism is not through the audit proceeding of the General Auditing Commission. No, it is the Inspector General of the NSA that's going to conduct the audits and report findings only to the President of the Republic of Liberia.
But
that's a spy institution. So
let me just say two things real quick. And Robert, the reason why I mentioned in terms of the GAO stuff, because I remember, and this came up during a conversation I had a few years ago. It was information supplied by the CIA to the GAO that revealed how detainees at Guantanamo Bay was being treated, right? So, but here's to Tomalin's question. You have to set an objective in terms of what is the purpose of the audit. Because if you're just doing audit all willy-nilly, then you're on a fishing expedition. But you have to set an agenda, a purpose, the objective of the audit. Take a look at the audit done by Crow. Crow wanted to know to what extent that amount of money that was missing, like what exactly happened to it. But to your question, Tomalin, the report will have to be redacted. If the president wants to put anything in the public space, they will have to black out all the sensitive information. And Robert, Ben, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever a report in the U.S. that has sensitive information is reviewed, practically the entire report can be redacted. They would black out everything. You probably would just see one or two words. So you would have to redact it to remove the sensitive thing, but you have to understand what is the objective of the audit. Is it to see that public resources, public money is not being misappropriated? Or
I think I have an idea.
What's that, dude?
I want to hear Ben.
I think I have an idea. And I got a text a few minutes ago, and I'm not going to tie it to anybody in the government. There's a reason why, and there's a reason why I said in the beginning, go back to when I said this. Why is the president requesting that there should be auditing of the NSA? There are a lot of things. And there's a reason why some people are just on the edge when it comes to auditing the NSA. There's something behind it. And you know what, though? It is not just a common thing, though. It is something that the public, a lot of us, have been very, very antsy about, especially over the past 6 years. There's a reason why. Right? Now, how that information, when uncovered, will be presented to the public, that's something. But I said this before the professor came. There are ways that you can release this information and protect sensitive information. It is possible to do that. Let's not ask. How many reports from the CIA are out there that's been declassified?
Yeah, no need to announce it. That's just
announce it, dude. We're not disagreeing. Why announce it?
No. Listen, Robert, Ben.
Let me.
It's like that's
okay, Chairman Ben. Let me ask a question, Chairman Ben.
There's no reason if you're going to doubt it. Why announce it?
Ben. So if they did auditor of NSA, if they found out some of the money that the past governments they give the black person to help him, if they come out in that audit, they will make it public.
First of all, thank you.
Answer my question, man.
First of all, I'll answer your question. First of all, thank you, and I apologize for being late. I actually was not planning to come up, but I got done with what I was doing. I think there's a lot of back and forth, and this is exactly what I think you should try to avoid when it comes to stuff that is this sensitive. I think Pee-wee hit the nail on the head, and I'm glad that he brought that information, because that was the first information that I received when I was trying to figure out whether this was even possible. I do know that according to the laws of Liberia, any entity or any agency that receives taxpayers' dollars is subject to audit. I mean, you are answerable to the people. You're using audit. You're using taxpayers' dollars. What I do agree with and what I do understand is that it's like the military. You cannot try a military personnel in a civilian court.
Thank you.
You can't do that. There are certain things when you implement a UCMJ, Uniform Justice of Court or whatever they call it. I think Pee-wee knows the name.
Uniform Court of Military Justice.
Court of Military Justice. There's certain things that there's certain things that they're covered with, right? Because they're in the military. It's similar to the National Security Agency. You have an NSA in this country. Many people don't know of. Yes. You also have the CIA in this country. Yep. Right? People talk about the CIA. There's a reason why when you even go to the CIA headquarters in Langley, I had a chance to go there to tour it, not the internal thing, not just the touring part. The first thing you see in the CIA, in the hall, the entry of the CIA, are stars on the wall. Those stars represent all of the people, the CIA agents who have lost their lives. There's a reason why their names are not put up on that wall. It's just represented by a star. Is because you could put their families in danger. You could do those things like Keff talked about the lady from Joe Wilson, his wife. It was a big deal when she got outed. To Liberia, I think again another mistake, another foot has been put in the government has put another foot in the mouth, right? Trying to score political points.
Exactly.
Because if you read the statement, or if you even read the post from Kula Fofana, under it she says #keeping the promise. Meaning President Boakai stated that he will audit, which is fine. Nothing's wrong with that. but the procedures must be followed. Because in as much as you want to keep people accountable, you have to keep yourself accountable by following the law. Nobody can tell me that no one couldn't take that NSA act to the office of the president to say that the GSC the GSC does not have the authority or the responsibility to audit the National Security Agency. It don't. Like Pee Wee said, an inspector general, which is an internal mechanism within the National Security Agency, will have to do that audit. Okay, I will state here, right? I will state here for the record. I believe every agency that receives government funding, taxpayers' dollars, should be subject to accountability, which is by virtue an audit. To answer your question, Tomalin, I don't know if the current president received money through the NSA. I have no idea, right? But even if people receive money through the NSA, an audit for the NSA not going to go publish names of people who the NSA have paid. So if that's what people are assuming, you're wasting your time. What's going to end up happening is, I believe something must have triggered the president wanting an audit of the NSA and the EPS. Something must have. But I believe what eventually is going to happen, the procedure will be followed. The next thing that's going to happen will be a report would be submitted to the president's office. More than likely, the only other person or only other group of people who may see that report may be the National Legislature Committee on National Security.
Yes.
That would be it. And it would never be made public. We will continue to assume, people will continue to talk, because at the end of the day, the president's office will invoke national security secrets. That's all they will say. Because of national security.
Tell me 1 second. Tell me, I won't take long 1 second.
That's why you don't announce it.
Let me say this.
That's why you don't announce it. All right.
Members of a political party covered under this particular act in terms of protecting information if they're not members of the NSA?
So let me answer that question. You have to understand something, Duke. If your question leads to members of political party receiving money from the NSA has a responsibility to defend why they gave any money to any particular person, right? They have that responsibility, and they will have to make that case to the inspector general. It's like when you do a normal audit, right? They come to you, they say, why did this money was spent here? You explain, this money was spent for this reason. So look, right now, all this fishing expedition, look, let's be frank. Let's be fair. Let's be frank and fair here, right? The EPS, the National Security Agency, and other security apparatus in the country, I can bet any amount of money you will never, ever see that report made public. If you see anything public come out of other than NSA, let Larry say, it will be a waste of your time because it will be heavily redacted. You will probably just see a black line starting from the beginning to the end, and you will get frustrated. But for anybody to believe that after this 3 months that it was given, by the way, it was wrong. The press statement was written wrong. The press statement says that the president has mandated the GSC to audit these agencies. The GSC cannot do it. They may come back to clean it up. But at the end of this 3 months, that report will be given to the president's office, and that will be the end of the story. If the president feels that he has to take action, he will go ahead and take action.
Quickly, Georgie, to Duke point. Quickly, Georgie, to Duke point. To Duke point about political individual. Duke, stop there.
I water it down, by the way.
Come on, the issue about the NSA, does not
national radio.
The NSA does not operate with political, no political. They even operate with non-Liberian citizens to protect the interest of Liberia.
So let me say this.
As Ben was speaking, quickly, let me say this quickly, my brother. The person went to Langley. I just want to check that 1 second, somebody to Langley. No civilian went with him in there to Langley. And what is saying Langley? Stay in Langley. No, I can tell you, nobody in that government knew exactly what it told the president in Langley. It was all speculation. That's how the security work.
Yeah. Well, What when Ben was
What they
speaking,
go for?
just got some message. When Ben was speaking, somebody from NSA person just told me, "Say, look, you NSA, I think, I mean, I will not read exactly what they said, but NSA, you won't audit the NSA because if going to NSA, if they make it public, I think it will bring a lot of problems because
it will not be public, Tommy.
yeah,
They can probably no.
It will never be public. Tomalin, I can bet you it will never be public.
The past government.
This is all bluff.
The past government that President Boga served as vice president, they know what they did with NSA, and also
they can go public.
NSA, what is doing in NSA?
In the audit process,
NSA,
in the audit proceeding, there's nothing going to be in the audit to say X, Y. For instance, they say, okay, let's say this auditor received $5 million for this. They said covert operation. They will not say covert. Intelligence gathering covert. This it will be happening as the professor said, man. There's gonna be they do it, and that it will be.
Duke, my brother, I'm telling you, I just urge you to fire back at these people. What they did is wrong.
But you're not gonna see those other people leader. No.
Let me say this.
I show you have idea with folks saying that NSA from the Taylor government back that day. You don't want to.
I have no idea about anything.
I'm asking anybody. Why is that even a discussion? Nobody listen.
I have no connection. No knowledge of anything NSA related.
This is my thing.
Argue a little bit for us to be able to properly educate the people. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is my point. Remember when the NSA worked with the US DEA for that major drug bust in I think in Liberia, and what his name Fumba, who was there. I mean, it's public, so I can talk about it. It's something that was made public. Fumba was kind of like the bait, right? He was used as the bait to be able to break the cartel that was operating in Liberia. Do you know how long that investigation took? It took 4 years for them to finally get to the point where it was made public, and then at the end of the day, because it was more of a celebration of an achievement at the end of the day, right? And to a certain extent, I remember I had a conversation with somebody who even knew what was going on. They frowned heavily on the fact that they even made public Fumba's name. That he was not even, they should never have even made his name public because it put his life in danger, pretty much, right? So what I'm saying here is, I believe something triggered the president calling for an audit. Something did. He probably got on a report. He's the new president. He gets national security briefing. Since he became president-elect, he gets detailed national security briefing now from the very NSA. He probably received a report, maybe a financial report of the National Security Agency, and he said, maybe he was alarmed by maybe figures that he saw. But hey, again, like I say, it will be left with the NSA to justify what they have spent over the last couple of years. And guess what? If there is any trace of impropriety or corruption or anything like that, like Larry said, there are mechanisms that are supposed to be in place for these things to be taken care of internally. But you will not hear them publicly come out and release a list to say, oh, somebody did this, or somebody stole this, or somebody. There are NSA agents coming in that work in Liberia that you and I don't even know.
I agree. But the public concern is this. The public concern is that if they are doing it in good faith, fine. We're happy with that. I'm happy. I mean, I welcome it. But if anyone's linked to anything clandestine or anything that's financial malpractice that connected to the president or his government, they should not hide it. It should be made public. Yes, because if anybody comes out in the NSA audit from the Inspector General's office, you should not hide it.
But they will not do it. They will not make it.
My point is, it shouldn't be if they say, well, somebody in the former administration was involved in something, and you wouldn't want to go after that person, and somebody that in your government was also involved in it, you should not hide it.
Yeah, but the audit doesn't cover the last government, though.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Ben,
there are people in the Boga administration who supported Boga administration who were involved, who are being connected to the NSA.
You're right, Tomalin.
Their name will come up. And when the name comes out, you shouldn't hide it. That's a problem about the concern.
And you see,
right?
Tomalin,
yeah.
And you see, this is why, Tomalin, this is why the audit has to be focused. You have to have a specific objective as to why you're doing the audit. Otherwise,
is it an operational audit?
No one knows.
You have to be specific. Is it because you want to
audit? We don't even know.
You're trying to do asset recovery.
Ben said, I believe because based on the security briefing the president may have gotten in the last couple of weeks or days that prompted this, because it's first time to go, everybody is concerned about it, to go to say audit NSA, which is not illegal, but I'm sure there's some briefing that he got that prompted him to say, look, audit NSA and EPS. See why he said EPS and all? He put EPS there too.
Yeah, it's just a witch hunt.
Central Bank. He tied all together because maybe money came from. Well, so I mean, I'm sure that's we'll get to the bottom. We'll find out.
It was a little oversight because you brought in Central Bank and everything. They referred to the GSC, but I think moving forward, the executive mansion will do the appropriate thing to do the necessary clarification that was a bureaucratic error announced by the office of the president.
It's too soon to be making this kind of error. I thought they said they are the professional, man.
Yeah, but
Larry, you told me that you guys are professional, Larry.
Yeah, like I call you. You and I had a sidebar. We discussed it, right? but no, so Kev, here's the problem, right? The NSA receive a lot of sensitive information, not just locally, but from international partners.
Exactly.
If you go to do an audit, you have to be extremely careful because your international partners, they're not going to trust you with information, right? So you have to be are you doing an audit because you're trying to do asset recovery? Why? I mean, you have to be specific because
But Larry,
but guys,
go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, if the audit is not focused and you're going on this wild goose chase, not only does it look like witch hunting, but you're wasting resources. If you're doing this audit because you think you're going to do some asset recovery, what's the chance you're going to actually recover this asset? You're in a situation where you don't have enough money to pay current salaries. Then you're going to spend 3 months of resources. You have to be very careful. You have to be narrow and focus on what your audit is going to uncover. Because if your audit uncover anything that has nothing to do with asset recovery, it's a waste of time. Because you cannot share that information because it's too sensitive. Over to you, Ben. Sorry, man.
Well, my quick interjection was going to be: you also have to understand the Americans are one of the closest security or agency in our government that the Americans work with. Heavily in our government from the existence of our country has been the National Security Agency, the NSA, correct? That is the reason, like you rightly said, right? There are American assets in a word of not house, human beings. So just for people to understand, when they use the word asset, when it comes to a security term, it's human being, right? There are American assets that are associated with the National Security Agency. That is the reason why, like Pee Wee said, that audit cannot be carried out by civilians, by strangers, by people who ain't got the people from the GSC are regular government workers, right? They don't have security clearance to see some of the things that. So that's why it is.
There you go, Ben.
That's why it is important that it is done internally. There have to be internal mechanisms for you to carry out an audit of the National Security Agency. It is absolutely important. And so listen, it makes good news. We're talking about it here today. I can tell you this is where it's going to stop.
But look, let me say this, Ben. I don't think that.
I think the Senate is going to go after it.
I don't think that a government with so much experience, right? Joseph Boakai is a wise elderly man.
It don't seem like it.
He comes with more than 40 years of public service. He's working government, including 12 years of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as vice president, right? So you expect a man who will act accordingly on these issues. Look at the press release was very clear. I think Sylvester made a very good point. If the auditing agency would not be the one auditing the NSA, why would you release a statement instructing them to do so? The President Boakai mandates the GSC to audit CBL, EPS, and NSA. So clearly, the executive mansion may not know how these processes work. Because if they knew how the processes work, Larry, that's why I like Larry, because I smile every time he speaks.
You know, I think
because
but he's slipping. I think he's slipping.
No, it's not about slipping. You can't just slip like this, right? Well, see,
I think he's slipping.
Kev, wait, Kev, 1 second. But you can't slip like this. You are slipping when you made an assertion,
it's not,
right?
It's not up to date,
that the former president misled the country when he talked about what he left in a consolidated account. The facts came out that you actually misled the government. You can't be the president. Have got to make statements based on after he's been briefed, based on the facts. You have got to look at the facts and say, I have been briefed. I have gotten the information I need to talk about this issue. Why is it that President Obama, I remember when they were in that war room with Hillary Clinton when Osama bin Laden was being killed. I remember, everyone remember that. There were massive media concerns about what was happening within the 72 hours that was happening. At the White House press briefing, they were very clear. The country must be patient. Mind you, the very night, 2 days before, after Osama bin Laden was killed, the president still did not come out because he wanted to make sure that those who were carrying out the assignment were actually safe and back on base. They made all that very clear. What is the rush? What is the president rushing about? You know why the president rushing? He understands that our society, we are very gullible people. He understands that we have a very, very, our attention span when it comes to details is very slim. We don't ask the tough questions. Why would the president come out and talk about, President Obama lied about what he left in a consolidated account? Why would the president issue a statement that, GSC must audit this when he knows that the process does not work this way? Look, we do not object to auditing, okay? But again, there are certain institutions that you've got to be very clear when you make these statements. And like Larry said, you have got to have a purpose, and you've got to be very clear with the general public. We should not be wasting our time on an audit that we may never know the results. So why? You know why? Because the government is very irresponsible. We may never know what happened with God. We will never know what happened to NSA. What someone got indicted for Joria or his uncle? We may never know. So why announce it? Why?
I just got a text. 30 seconds, Duke. You coming in? 10 seconds. Let me just. From what I'm getting here, this probably is more. From what I understand, this probably is possibly more of a personnel audit. They're looking at possibly justification to reduce the number of EPS and NSA agents. That's a strong possibility from what I'm hearing here, and because they weigh heavily also on the wage bill. This is one hypothesis that somebody.
Man, you don't need an audit to do that.
I
think it's less.
That's administrative decision.
What is this, the circus?
Now they made it worse.
One of the things that I like to applaud so far from the government is the fact that the press secretary is doing a great job, right? Having those engagement with the general public. I will hope that the journalists we have would do a lot of probing questions to be able to get clarity in terms of some of these remarks. But I was just looking at the message from E. Manson earlier today, and I think the government is really strong on this decision to, when it comes to the 20 million. They're saying that they believe that there are discrepancies in terms of what was reported, right?
Dude,
CBL?
I beg you. Dude, I beg you. Dude,
1 second.
No. I for 10 seconds. Don't put your neck on the chopping board.
No. It's not about putting the neck on the chopping board.
They should not be doubling down
No.
when the CBL, when the PAC in the Senate, when everybody has come and has said something to the contrary.
Ben. What I think they're doing, we give them the benefit of the doubt. They're auditing these areas because they want to come up with the truth, right? In terms of what the CBL is. It's possible that the president does not charge the CBL.
Oh my God!
Come on, man!
They're just embarrassed. They're embarrassed. That's what it is.
You know what? I hear you say you commend it. Listen, Skula is reporting what she's being told to report, so I'm not going to blame her, right? She probably has.
She also exposing the weakness of.
But let me say on the issue of the CBL thing, I think it was totally. It's totally catastrophic on their part to even have put it in that press statement again today. Look, the oversight arm of the executive. The oversight arm of the executive is the national legislature. The Public Accounts Committee in the Senate, right, headed by Amara Kone, and trust me, there is no love lost between Amara Kone and the CDC people. If there was something, Amara Kone probably would have wanted to do today was to release that report and say that President Weah, you lied. There was only $20 million.
Yeah, but Ben,
if they came out, Duke, and Duke, the thing is, the people review statements. There's statements. There's money. You are a financial guy.
I do understand. I get sick of them anyways. What I'm saying,
how can you say $20 million is
no, I get the point. But listen, but the government is still giving pushback on what's being handed to us.
But that's what I'm saying, Duke. That is the political spin.
No, but then
that is the political spin. Or they're not coming to say the president messed up. And I government. And you know what I think the president should have done, Duke? You know what I think the president should have done?
If present us with his facts.
Yeah, but let me say that, Duke, you know what? You know what I think President Joe Biden should have done? Somebody should have gotten fired for giving him wrong information.
Yes.
It would have made him look so strong.
Yeah.
It would have made him look so strong for somebody to have misled him, because what he did was to report to the country at the national legislature.
So do you think that decision to fire should be based upon his own internal investigation?
Why internal investigation? It's either a statement or it's not a statement.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he still wants clarity, and we give him the benefit of the doubt.
But the benefit of the doubt comes from the president being patient and waiting for the facts before he makes statements definitively.
But today, 4 hours ago, the executive mansion is still defending.
Yeah, the benefit is a spin. It's a spin.
So then it is our responsibility for the executive mansion, the president, office of the president, to give us everything contrary to what we've seen now.
But that's what people are saying. The president either lied or misled.
I mean, the burden of proof is upon that. Okay, so that's the kind of, okay, we're in error, we made a mistake, right? Or the other side that's bringing that information is inaccurate. Here are the findings. So there's still, my point here is.
But remember, the CBL and the Senate Committee on Accounts does not work for the past government.
Man, I don't even trust.
There's nothing to protect you, especially what I'm saying.
No, I have a lot of respect for the CBL.
I would rather see Larry Kennedy.
The IMF. He does
not have that background. Let's be honest here. The CBL government should not been in that position. We criticized him when CDC made the decision to put him there. Honestly speaking, he should have been in that role.
But I mean,
absolutely.
But the reality is that the IMF they're working with, IMF give them high praises. They say they are doing very well. So I mean,
the IMF because
let me say something to that.
It was the same IMF who published bogus numbers for Samba 12 and later on retracted that. We don't trust the IMF. You ever heard about cooking the books? We see this thing with China. It is covered. It's evident.
But then let President Boga ask them to leave because he needs them right now. He needs them. He won't tell them to leave. But
so let me say something real quick.
The IMF got the people in the central bank. You think the IMF will sit down there and will bring out?
For me, I'm not worried about the central bank. I know that. But let me say something, Larry. Maybe you can answer the question. The question is being asked, right? How can you audit the NSA and EPS without Ministry of Finance Development Planning? Because money that went to the agency came from the finance, authorized by Ministry of Finance. So, I mean, this information I'm getting. How can you audit these entities without MOFFPD, DP?
No, you cannot, because the audit trail is going to show the source of the money and the use of the money.
Include finance ministry in the audit, right?
Well, I mean, if you're only asking the finance ministry for information, that's one thing. That doesn't mean you're necessarily auditing the entire finance ministry. For example, let's say you have a program in front of you that was for like $5 million. If you want to know the source of that money, well, you get that information from the finance ministry to verify, or even the finance ministry can tell the central bank to show that the funds were transferred over to the NSA, because you want to verify the money came in. Then now you want to look at the program to see how the money was used. Was half of that money sent to Keff? Then you want to check that out. You want to double check that out because, you know, Keff was living kind of a high life over here. But you cannot, to your point, Tomalin, you definitely need to know the source or the sources of the money and the uses of those funds. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to audit the finance ministry. But I want to say something real quick to Duke's point. So Duke is right in the extent that it's in the CBL report because the information that was being fed to the CBL is supposed to go and gather their own information on their own so that everyone can say it is not biased. But there was a certain time when the CBL information, the data for the CBL was coming from the finance ministry. So the finance ministry was being a referee and a player in the same game. They were sending the data to the CBL that was used to judge how well they were doing. So the finance ministry, that's why I can come out and say, I don't trust the data because the finance ministry was cooking the numbers from Twitter. But the president cannot say that because he depends on the CBL to give him accurate information. But to a point, and I'm not saying it, if you read, because I follow the CBL data when it comes out, if you read the CBL data, a lot of that information during the CDC administration was coming from Samuel Twitt, as opposed to coming from ListGIS or the CBL. It was coming from the Ministry of Finance because the Ministry of Finance wasn't funding ListGIS at the level for them to do that work. And ListGIS was being used as a political pawn as opposed to an entity that collects data. Over here in the US, you use the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you use the Federal Reserve Economic Data Bank to host that data, you use even data.gov. You use all of these entities that has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve Bank, right? But yeah, so to Duke's point, I wouldn't trust some of the numbers from the CBL because it was coming from TWE at the time. But that's not the president to say that he has to trust the people who are coming up with a monetary policy for his government. So he has to trust them. But yeah, Tomalin, so you can't do it unless you actually show what
this is our issue. I'm begging you, this is our issue here, man. And you need to just give a little bit of time to exert clarity to this. 1 minute, only less than a minute there.
Okay, let me come in.
Are we going to the appointed officials?
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Let's go there. We're talking on this one thing. The president have started an audit. Let's give him the support for this audit to go on. And let's see what happened. What action
you support the audit being done the wrong way?
No, but that's what I said. You see, Ben,
you got to do the right process. Peabody.
Ben, this is why
audit.
Ben, I don't know. Once you
the right channel
process.
On our last
okay.
show, this is why we said.
Yeah, just come in the conversation. God.
How about the new appointments? The president made some new appointments.
Okay, guys. Information.
So let's talk to the new appointments.
On empowering people.
The president started.
So we can able to collect the data in real time, be able to make sure we're
at least.
Okay,
listen. At least, let me come in. Let me come. Yeah, to me come in. At least the president came in. Even he came in the wrong way or not, at least he was able to announce audit. The previous government didn't do fat. Let me say that. They didn't do nothing like that. So let's be realistic. Go ahead, Tomalin.
I want an audit. But so we got more on top of the audit. The judge let's see what will be the TOR and everything we'll find out in the next coming days. But today the president made appointments in government. Quickly, guys, before we leave, we got 15 more minutes. Let's talk about it.
Call the names.
Okay, we got Mo Ali. Warren Stewart, Mo Ali wanted this job, so I'm sure he's happy for this job. Jacob Smith, I want a Ben man from the Liberty Party, deputy for administration LPRC. That's a good job he got working with Amos Square.
He took George Loba's job.
UP and Liberty Party guy.
That George Loba's job.
So that good now.
Yeah.
You got Stephen Johnson, our woman Zinzu. They saying the aviation. Stephen, I don't know whether he was considered with this job, whether he liked it, he loved it. I don't know what you're thinking. Stephen got a good job in the states there. What the federal government got a good job. And the job he got in the state making more than the job they giving him. I don't know whether he would do for love of country. I don't know. We'll find out in the coming days. We got Julius K. Sally. What is Julius Sally? I know him very well. He's a way Firestone classmate of mine. Way back in Firestone. He took Pepsi job. Lace. Then you got Anthony Cassidy. Kezo, Deputy Minister of Public Affairs. I think Kezo was on the higher end because Kezo have been deputy for a long time.
So he got
But let's see.
Public Affairs.
Donald Sano, the guy who used to be cussing and they put it on spoon there. He deputy minister for technical services and minister of information. Now he was class video there, so he boss man there.
That's an office role, right?
So PR there. So that's not bad. The body party too. Then you got.
What's in the same position that they gave
Fagon. Then you got Massa Sobo, assistant human resource. You got Fagon. Okay, Fagon LBS. I know what Fagon. Me Keff love for the job. Fagon. I know what Fagon love this job. I know he wanted. Fagon they're talking. LBS boss not for talking business. No. Not for talking. Okay, but I know he love it. But he got a whole place to handle now. You got Sir Johnny. Sir Johnny is President Boyga a long time. Buddy, when you're vice president, I live in Rwanda. That the house is sleeping in Rwanda. They probably main house, Sir Johnny house. You're former auditor for the state of Rwanda. He retired now. But they may enter Joe Boyga room any day, anyway, so that he close buddy. Then you got Rostelin Swakoko Dennis. Wow, she got a big job. They want she was representative, but she lost the election. So when they moved Jake from there, they moved nothing from that Jake. So he gave Rosalind Swakoko job to Jake job to local.
I think that was too much conflict of interest.
She got Safua job now.
But no, Jay was not appointed. He was officer in charge.
Yeah, but okay.
Officers
Then you got Charles Sneller. Charles Papa, a long time buddy.
Sneller is good.
That's what I like. I love him. He's my buddy. He's good. He's cool. That's good.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Emmanuel Zango. That Ben and on the party.
I'm a male.
The party. The Zango, he's vice president for finance and investment. That a job that my friend had, Eric Daniels, at Noka. They gave the guy a job now. What? From the party. What about you're coming? Party coming get money tomorrow now. Then you got George K. Sa.
You encouraging corruption?
No. George K. Sa. George K. Sa, the president, long-time chief of staff. Yeah, he been the president for a long time. George Sa. He now assistant minister somewhere to where? Information.
No, Minister of State.
Nima Superintendent. Doc Cooper now Inspector General, Minister of Commerce. That Joseph Davis John he got. Wow. Then you got
Gobacho.
He's a veteran. He's a career diplomat. Very good. A foreign minister that's good for John Wallace, who helps Cyril Bessler. He's a veteran. You have to. Who's the man? She's like a sister to the president. But now I don't know what. And Ellen have business manager. We have business manager at the Minister of State.
All of them did. They just didn't announce.
What is the purpose of that?
They didn't announce it, but they want it right now.
The business manager
for the president.
It's a level of a deputy minister. You do all the business.
All of them had business.
All those things. Yeah.
They just didn't.
All the issues matter.
Yeah, you do processing of those big things.
You got Bushi Ben Keita. I remember him during the interim government time. He was LPS former board. Now he's a legal advisor.
Special assistant to Alhaji Kurman too. During the interim.
So he got Ajibo job.
But Tomalin, let me kind before everybody.
Quickly.
Let me kind quickly before everybody. 2018 by now, JMB announced a government of inclusion, right? That's what he said. 2018 by now, George Weah appoints from ANC, Salonte, Harrison Conway, LP, Nukwe, the running mate, UP, ALP, Dupo. They are all opposition. 2018 by now, George Weah hired those people, appoint those people. Just show me on that list any sedition who on that list.
But even here,
wait now, you're not a spokesman, my brother.
Oh.
Yeah, man, let me finish. You're not a spokesman.
But Donald Zanga, he got job.
My man,
Zanga is not a sedition.
It's not a sedition. Yeah. But man, wait now, let me finish. 2018. You see,
Cooper Cry. What did that give him a job?
No,
Cooper Cry.
It's not a sedition. Let me finish now. Cooper, Cooper Cry, MDR, Prince Johnson. But let me say this to you. By now, his running mate, Nukwe, who ran against George Weah. See everything against George Weah. He was appointed by George Weah in 2018. We're saying those things for you guys who saw the Unity Party and praised
who running mate?
Yeah, Boga running mate, Nukwe. Nukwe was appointed in 2018. Nukwe was appointed.
But they may appoint your body from CDC.
No, man, not making joke on this thing.
Eugene Fagon from CDC.
No,
they appointed him.
No, Eugene Fagon. Listen. Eugene Fagon not from Congress. He's not from Congress. He's an ALP guy. That's John. You see what you can do. Now you're not allowing the people to get a message. You understand? So Fagon propagate for JMB. You saw him. with GMB. So he deserved what he get. GMB is paying him for what he did. But I'm telling you about people who campaigned against George Weah, and George Weah appointed them. So 2018, by now, all those guys were appointed. But show me one list now that you will get one sedition there. That's the country we're going. So George Weah did something different. Sylvester, you know this. A lot of people were surprised and see that what CDC did. They bring Unity Party. People all in Mo Ali had jobs. Everybody. But you know what they're doing now, Larry? They're going to places them, even lower level people that supposed to be having civil servant. They're kicking them out of job. Tenure position, they're going there as to speak. Going there, say they should leave the offices. Do your case study. Ask what's happening. So this is what's going on in Liberia as we speak. No sedition. A single sedition has been hired. But George Weah hired Unity Party, ANC, ALP, and the top, not lower person, top people as a level, as running mates. Who does that? George Weah. I hope you guys will buttress what I said.
Let's get it clear now. It's the prerogative of the president. I mean, what he want to appoint?
He promised us, but something he promised us a government.
I will say this. I'm not spoken about, but I will say this. From what I gather,
yeah, but something.
Sylvester, how many government appointments the president can make? How many positions in the government? PPP help us.
No, that's not what we're talking about. We say right now.
But he's not doing it with the government.
Come again?
From the government. I mean, Sylvester.
No, okay, so let's be fair. Let's take a walk. So Keff is saying we should have a government of inclusion, right? So even whether the person supported you, they didn't support you, they're from the opposition. By having a government of inclusion, that means you can have everything that is balanced. I understand what Keff is heading with that, but
the government haven't been formed yet. They're still appointing.
They're still appointing that. Yeah. So
Larry, by now in 2018,
everybody different.
Had those people.
Maybe he got a different strategy.
No, but in top position too. But Larry, all the top position gone. Tell me what there.
So
maybe they're sitting on the bench waiting for the second half.
Yeah, but Larry, when we do those things, you know what we're doing to the country? We're playing with it. We're playing with this. If we
too many you're asking. Okay,
let me just rest on this one.
Yeah,
we were booted out to bring somebody in to say they want to take the country in a different direction and Liberia for everybody. He promised Liberia for everybody. But what we're saying right now, even within his government, you got certain things to say against us. Southeast. Why this? Southeast company. What happened? Is a Lofa company or what this? Yes, they said they were going to make it different, but look what's happening. I believe you guys will speak truth to power. I don't think you will kind of face this thing, man. If you're trying to say I give up, I give up. If anybody took this facts, I give up. Go ahead, Sylvester.
So basically, it's a combination of all. So Article 50 of the Constitution of the Republic will give the president authority to appoint from SOE ministry. So everything is around 588 government appointed positions that will come from ministers, deputy ministers, assistant ministers, ambassador, from the military angle, from the rank of a lieutenant, from the military, the rank of a lieutenant, then the commissions and other areas and what have you, presidential advisors. Now, if you're presidential advisors, ambassador at large, and the rest of that. So a lot of them, we still got more. And before today's appointment, before today's announcement, we had 58 appointments already, plus today's announcement. So we got much more left.
So that's 17.
So it's 17. So you added 17 to the
more. They're appointing more. They have more. So wait. Let us from the government.
Yeah. So
let one election. We shall win. We shall win election. We lost the election. Let it put from the government. That's not what we win.
The only thing I want to say about this, Tomalin, is that the only thing I want to say about this is LBS.
So you go 75 and the government appointees are 75.
Larry, JMB will have a very, only us from the opposition will hold their feet to the fire. But folks who are in the middle will give them a free ride. JMB will get a free ride from the middle.
So
ride.
let me say
So
this.
let me say let me say a very, very big congratulations to Eugene Fagon. Congratulations, my friend.
Yes.
Yes. By the way,
the Basel level of being sarcastic coming.
By the way,
Prophet Kina arrived. He arrived in Liberia now for the appointment.
No,
I'm hearing he may never arrive. By the way, LBS, the employees.
Okay, good. Ben Akam, maybe Ben will speak truth to power. Ben Akam, maybe Ben will speak truth to power.
They said,
let me keep my finger crossed. He might speak truth to power.
Huh?
No, I said Ben Akam, he might speak truth to power.
Let me say this.
We're talking we ain't got one time to talk.
Let me congratulate.
Robert.
Let me congratulate my dear friend Eugene Fagon for his appointment. I mean, let's tussle and tussle. This is a promotion. I mean, unlike my uncle, Cassidy should not, and I know he's listening right now. Do you know how long Cassidy has been around Joseph Boakai?
How come is it Cassidy that was in his office as vice president?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, now he the deputy minister?
Yes. Can you imagine? If I was Cassidy, let me say this. If I was my uncle Cassidy, I would decline that position. I'll be honest with you. There's a certain point in your life after you have served and you have the requisite experience, certain position you no longer accept no more now. Unless it's a life and death situation where I have to provide for my family.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay? But you can't take man of me. You take man of me and you can't make me a front desk agent. I should become front desk agent after I have been rooms operation manager. After I have dropped, look, there's certain time in your life you have to excel. You have to go up. Certain position deputy should not be to your name. But Eugene Fagon, Tomalin, LBS is right where he belongs.
Oh,
and I want to say congratulations. That's all I want to say.
But Ben, people quickly, I beg you. And the LBS boss and Deputy Minister of Information is the same position.
Yeah. So in terms of bureaucratic ranking, the deputy, the LBS boss and deputy, they are on the same salary line.
Yes.
But the only difference there is that you are head of institution. That's not different. You are head of institution.
It's a title.
But Kev, when I usually
so yeah, it's the title. It's big. Yeah, you are the boss.
But what's the title?
You are the director general of the Liberal Broadcasting.
Eugene is there.
And quickly. LBS. There exists to LBS. The Chinese government is giving $25,000 quarterly for to translate those Chinese broadcast information. Radio France is also giving the same 25,000. BBC is giving 25,000.
That's a pretty cool.
Yeah. BBC is giving 25,000 quarterly.
Yeah, 100,000 to 25,000.
No, sorry. The Chinese government is giving 25,000 monthly, and then Radio France is giving 25,000 quarterly, and BBC is giving 25,000. To get.
Plus, the master CDC that I gave him a good card for deputy information minister.
No, he's gonna get a brand new card. The Chinese government even renovated the other building. The other building, the old building have been renovated by the Chinese government and well furnished already. So there's gonna be a lot of support and then the government support. So yeah,
I want to congratulate the folks who got nominated today. Pew is right. I think Eugene is inheriting a stronger LBS than Estelle Liberty Kemun, who is now the former.
Yes.
Inherited. And kudos to her. She did a great job over there. She was very innovative. We went out there and sought a lot of support. I think they renovated the place. It's a vibrant place now. The only challenge people are asking is because of his political nature, because that institution should be for the country.
Yes.
Everybody should be able to use LBS. The opposition, the government, everybody should be able to use. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles that. I believe that he deserves it. I think he has worked hard. I think he communicated there. Listen, I never agree with Eugene Fagon or anything during the elections, but I think he was an effective communicator in a society like Liberia, right? Maybe anywhere else he may not have been, but he understands what makes the people tick in Liberia. So I think he was very effective, and so he may have wanted another position. I think I've heard he wanted Minister of Information, but
also you are pushing to go to London to be our representative at the IMO.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So
that one down quick.
So what I'm saying is he now heads an entity. He now heads an entity. And so we congratulate him. On the rest of the other folks, we congratulate them.
So no confirmation for him. So the 4AA will not be questioned. So there's no confirmation.
Yeah. On the other folk, we recommend, we congratulate them. I just texted my brother Steven. I said, I didn't know you wanted a job too, because I know it was one of the attacks that he kept leveling against people, that people just supporting We Are because they want job and stuff like that. But I congratulate Steven. I think he's way qualified. I think he probably deserved something higher, but I think he will accept. I think LCAA is a very interesting.
But we make up all the guys on your party, all the guys there. Zango,
Yeah, but I come in. So Steven, I think Steven deserved that. I mean, listen, LCAA is a very important. It's a very important entity, and I think being deputy there gives him a lot of leverage to be able to do a lot of things there. Mo Ali, I think, well deserving. Mo Ali is an expert in that area, so I look forward to seeing some transformation at the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. With Jacob Smith, I'm extremely happy for Jacob. Jacob has been he's been in the trenches since Charles Brumskin, and I think if anybody deserves, I didn't know he was going to LPRC. I had heard something else at another entity, but I think LPRC he's a great administrator. He served as my Secretary General when I was chairman of the party, and I know he's a great administrator. So I congratulate Jacob. Daniel, I think Daniel will do great at MICA. Technical services is a little more tricky. That's the job Robert Pade had on the Ellen. Technical services. So we'll see how he makes that.
Daniel, the guy who said you're going to drag Just We Are in the street?
Yes. It was Daniel Sando. He made that. He made that
technical services. Basically, he deal with the newspaper. I don't know.
He deal with the news folks. Yeah, he's more. It has to be more of a writer, pretty much.
Yeah.
You link. You run. I think you work with the New Liberia newspaper, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Daniel, yes. Emmanuel Zango, interesting appointment. First vice president at NOCAL.
Wow.
I know my boy Zango very well. Loud mouth, but he did do some finance thing. I think he did it in Kenya. I think he got his
Makerere, Uganda.
Uganda, sorry, correct.
Yeah,
Uganda. So he did something in finance and in Uganda. So I congratulate him. And overall, I think, look, to Keff's point, and I want to hit Keff's point. I do agree with Keff. I think with the closeness of how the election was, right? The election was extremely close. I think it will look. Listen, the president is not mandated to appoint any sedition. When you win the election, you get a chance to appoint who you want to appoint. But in the spirit of, because I heard his speech, no more blue Liberia, no more green Liberia, right? He talked about reconciling the country. He talked about being president for all. I'm sure there are other seditionists who are well qualified to help and serve, but there's still more appointments out there. Maybe they will come. But Keff was right when he said one of the few appointments President We Are made immediately was appointing. But it raised a lot of eyebrows. So a lot of seditions, right? When he appointed Nukwe, who was the vice standard bearer of the Unity Party, to the airport. He did a lot of appointments of other opposition Unity Party people. Some of them he even kept in what's his name? The guy from NASCORP, DeWitt Van Bommels, supporter of Vice President Boakai, then Vice President Boakai in 2017. He kept DeWitt at NASCORP. So I'm waiting to see Well, I mean, most of the jobs now are still faster going, but like you said, Tomalin, there are ambassadors, there are other jobs and stuff like that. Maybe boycott strategy is to take all the citizens and send them out of the country so that
let me ask you this, Ben. Let me ask you this. There was a sedition that he well, he appointed a gentleman who they went back and they looked on his page. He had a CDC hat. He was withdrawn.
Oh, they said like I was say you were teaching CDC, right?
Yeah,
But he's not a sedition. He's not a
sedition.
No, but you were teaching CDC.
Yes, but because he had the beret, he was withdrawn.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
What chances that
CDC still got 500 position to the point.
Yeah,
so,
but if he withdraw somebody who was teasing CDC with a CDC hat and withdraw him as a deputy minister, so
well, from what I've been told is that they're about to. He was not supposed to be placed in that job. It was for the guy who they appointed, so he will get placed somewhere else because he's actually a Unity partisan who was teasing.
Yeah, Unity Party, yeah, but hey.
My last thought on appointed is Rosalyn Swakoko Dennis. I thought it was very interesting to see her laying at Nokal.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that.
I was very shocked. I know she supported the vice president, the president now in the second round. So I don't know what went into that, but it was that was a shocker for me, right? Because I would have thought maybe somebody like Stephen Johnson could have headed Nokal. Let's be frank, right? I think Stephen would have been a more he would listen. That's just my opinion, but I wish Rosalyn well. I think she's gonna do great. She's very smart. She was a very.
I don't have a problem with her stability in the way she go about things. You remember the last time she accused that people in her ceiling try to kill her, some outrageous things. I don't know. I do.
I'm still looking forward for tomorrow. You have George Lobonin coming up too, Jacob Akoli again, Luther Tape, and again, if the president is listening, watching this show, I hope he considered my own sister Mepe for Nima Lieutenant.
I think y'all can be doing these people wrong.
No, not wrong.
Let me say this. You know why I think you're doing that?
Why?
You know why I say that?
Maybe I'll get a superintendent job.
Yes, I want to get a superintendent job.
Yeah, you're pushing. I think y'all give the president the chance.
The president.
So can we talk?
Ben, you not prompted the appointment today. They put have press conference this weekend.
I would not be surprised if I don't hear George Lobo as assistant minister for logistics at the Ministry of State.
No. So if we're moving along,
Charles Lobo deserves an appointment now because he's
assistant minister for state. George Lobo may likely take the assistant because he's close to handle all the logistics of the president. That would be a good job for him to.
Yeah, like what Porter? The job Porter had.
Yes, Minister of State.
I would tell George to look for like hustle for the get.
That's a very perfect, wonderful.
I don't think George needs an appointment, by the way. So
yes,
George
pushed president. He pushed for that. He gave it to him. He's very good and powerful.
But
yeah, I would stay out of that. So the appointment. Look, I'm disappointed with the Stephen Johnson assignment, and void of politics. I think Stephen Johnson, is competent. Local, even a role at the National Investment Commission would have been something really great for him.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I really do believe. I don't know the aviation authority. I don't think Stephen's got, but it's an administrative position. He has an MBA, I believe. But
since we have our aviation, you make progress there.
It's an administrative role.
Yeah, it's an administrative. I would have loved the same.
Yeah, Stephen. I agree.
And lastly, before we go, I'm the president again, the Senate. You should not even you should reject this guy, Francis Numani. That guy should be rejected.
The guy with
that man said to go confirmation.
But I will see the senator. I will call them out. And I will call them out if they confirm that guy. I will call them out. I know they are jokers. Let me
Uncle Saklia.
Let me tell you money you can push out in there. Charles Nether's another person.
They did a Zolizo, and they don't let our effort. Okay, so I want to see you lead the effort.
Yeah, because by now Dylan talking for Zolizo.
But guys, look, guys, in 30 seconds, I'll give a closing comment so we can leave. 30 seconds.
We're closing that. Okay, we're taking phone calls now. What?
No, you're closing right now.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Let me just go real quick, 30 seconds. So on the appointments, look, if you look at, and this is reference to just maybe 2 people from the appointments list, right? If you look at the work that Stephen Johnson was doing in the U.S., I think they got him in the wrong position because Stephen is highly educated, highly qualified. Stephen has a wealth of experience. In order to do what he was doing, you have to be at a certain level. So I think Stephen used to either be placed, like you said, maybe in locale, maybe even at the Ministry of Finance, in some position where he can excel because the guy, he speaks well, he knows what he's doing. He's got I think it's just misplacing him, right? I also like the fact that I think Tomalin, you touched on it real quick. So Madam Tamba is someone who is really cool, approachable, somebody who I think would help to bring a little bit more business and a little bit more calm and experience on the executive side. But a lot of the other people there, some of them, they came from, they work in previous administrations. We haven't seen where the work they've actually done. And we just have to wait and see again. But I think Stephen Johnson and Madam Tamba, I think those were 2 good appointments the president made. So I applaud him for that. But hopefully Stephen would bounce to something a little bit more within his skill set.
Yes.
Okay, let me go quick. Yeah, I beg you guys. I need to do something quick upstairs. I agree with you. For Stephen, well, that tells me that he was not considered for anything anyway. Because if he was on the top list, he should have been somewhere greater than that. I don't think. I think because of the noise, everybody talking, oh, Stephen Mo Ali. So I don't think he was considered in the first place. And I will just close.
Yeah, just to close, my great show again. I'm glad we have the opportunity to speak. We talk about a lot of issues here. Just in my closing, I like the nomination of Charles Snetter. I think somebody who's been lost somewhere along the cracks of our body politics, but I think he brings tremendous experience and he's a really great person. I look forward to an appointment of Patrick Hona. Patrick Hona is one of the strong voices in the party, and it surprises me. I'll tell you, I've gone to LDS to tell you the truth. Right. So hopefully the further announcement, but Patrick Hona is somebody that deserves to have his time as well. But overall, great show, guys, and we'll be back here again.
Thank you.
Oh yes. Again, Mr. President, thank you for for the role you play as our President of the Republic. Again, we look forward to rescuing our republic, basically. But again, we need to check the process very well. The process about the NSA. Yes, the GSC can also conduct, even the the central bank. There's a procedure also involving those issues that the institution that got tenure and the rest of that. But yeah, you need to appoint what we call an Inspector General of the National Security Agency, then they will move the process. But I know you got good intent, and I'm happy. The fact that we need to check all of those that receive money from the country will have to do this process. But I will also encourage you to not have this issue about what we refer to as I don't record it, to just limit the audit process. You need to open the gap, so there should be no closed eye on a certain date or certain regime and the rest of it. I just wish you a very wonderful time as you move to the country. But yes, the country, we should protect the country and move to protect us and open the issue. There should be no level of wish hunt as we want to move the country forward. There should be a government, as you say, a government that will protect the people of the bureau. Thank you for the show and have a wonderful evening, guys.
Peabody?
Well, gosh, it was a great show. I'm still at work. Sometimes I forgot I would stand up to stretch my hand and stuff like that. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. What you?
Yeah. I didn't even know I was doing it. Well, look, I didn't even know. I just kept doing like this. And at one point, my boss and Kima was talking. We didn't even realize that. But it was a great show, and I want to thank the president for the appointment. But I hope the appointment for Stephen Johnson and will just be temporary. I think Stephen deserves a better era. I mean, based on his qualification, I think he deserves a better era. But I want to make the announcement. I mean, starting on Friday, we will have a cash app number for the closing argument. and want to encourage you to donate. You know, one of the reasons I hear people saying you can't come on 5 days a week. It's expensive coming on 5 days a week. It's a lot involved. So we will have that cash app out, and we encourage you to just donate to help us continue this show. This show is not being sponsored by nobody, so we don't want, so we encourage you. We are trying to keep it going, and it has been great so far. So we encourage you. We'll put the number up, and we'll put it up. But it was great. I want to thank the president for announcing audit. I believe that's a fresh step, and I hope it be something that's fair and transparent. It must be across the board. I hope that the president can go back at least 3 or 4 years into the former United Party government and then bring that out up, because there was a lot of audit out there that needed some kind of implementation. But I think it was a great show, guys. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. But look out for the Cash App number, and we encourage you to donate to that cause, man, to keep the closing acumen going. Thank you.
Yeah, great show. Thank you, guys. We continue to look at the appointments and look and see what's going on. We appreciate everybody who continue to support the show, and we believe at the end of the day, the president is forming his government. Let's wait and see. Then more names will be coming up fully. I think tomorrow is Thursday. I'm sure before the end of the week, there may be more names coming up, and we look forward to seeing who else is going to be placed to serve the country. So thank you again.
Okay, so to end, I just got this. Let me just read this quickly. Okay. It's during the presidential administration, Dr. Anthony Sayer wanted all security agencies audited. They agreed and commissioned an audit, but NSA fought back and President Salih did not enforce it. It's a great idea. Money flowed to them, to the presidency and others. Okay. Then the CIA and NSA here are audited by people who have top secret clearances. And lastly, okay. Is it to preserve the NSA from public disclosure of their operations? Both bodies are authorized to withdraw to the extent necessary for the maintenance of secrecy. Now the money, it's yearly appropriations through the Ministry of Finance and deposit deposit to them in its respective checking accounts in a bank within the Republic, to be designated by the president as the legal depository. It is authorized to develop and maintain its own procurement, accounting, and auditing system separate from those of the general government accounts that shall be audited yearly as circumstances may require by an auditor appointed by the president of Liberia. Well, this is from former Auditor General. So that's why I think the NSA people are raising issue about the NSA and the EPS on being asked to be audited. But we hope to get more clarification in the coming days. But guys, it's good. Thanks for watching the program. Thanks for the program. We look forward to having you be back on Friday, and more appointments will be made. We're hearing in the coming hours. So we look forward. I pray that all those who fought for the rescue mission, who was on the rescue train to rescue the country, hope that it will be appointed, and so that the government of the country can move on. And I know civil servants, civil servants, I heard they haven't taken pay yet. But somebody texted me. They said, I'm going to talk about you too. You haven't taken pay?
No.
Wow. So I hope they will.
I don't know people will go. They're not coming here now.
Yeah,
So
they will take payment. They will take
They pay them. So they owe them for, I think. They owe them for what? How many months now? 2 months?
No, I think 1 month. They're not there for January.
Yeah, so but I hope they will pay them. So, but we're looking forward to it. Let's see what happened. Yeah, the president took a drug test today. He passed. He and the vice president. And
I don't understand it. I don't understand the essence of that, though, to be honest.
So everybody taking drug tests, and
I don't understand the essence of that. You're giving drug tests. You don't have facility to treat people if they have drugs. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, what's the essence of going to take drug tests?
But the president, one thing again, the president needs to declare his asset, though. People are actually.
You haven't done that.
Yeah, tomorrow he will declare his asset.
Okay. Tomorrow, hopefully, he declare asset tomorrow, because everybody concerned about the asset being declared.
That's what we're.
So look forward to that. But anyway, guys, Heron, we'll talk offline. Bye-bye.
Tell you what a pleasant way being here, providing all of the necessary information. Many thanks to our panelists. Many thanks to the guys at Hot FM 107.9 for relaying this program, and the team there at 2 FM 96.1 Nima County, Sacre, PA, and all affiliate radio stations for also carrying this program. For on behalf of the team, my name is Henry Jarrett. I join out on Friday for our weekend edition